talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With the headlines at 1:03, I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. Arsenal Invincible Martin Keown says injuries and playing 3 games in 8 days means that point at Stamford Bridge was a good one.
The back four at the end of the game, there was only one member of the regular back four still on the pitch. Calafiori had to go off because he'd had a booking. So all in all, I think Arsenal will be happy with that.
Arsenal will find out the extent of William Saliba's injury today. Meanwhile, Johan Wissa's closer to making his long-awaited Newcastle debut following a knee injury. Here's Eddie Howe.
He participated in an 11v11 sort of training game while we were at Everton. I think he'll have another one at some stage this week. And yeah, we'll see how close he is.
Newcastle v Spurs is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Spurs will be happy to be back on the road. They have just 5 points in 7 home games so far this season. Sorry, Paul. Former Spurs striker Mido has stuck the boot in even more, saying Tottenham don't have any players worth watching.
If I'm a Tottenham fan today and I want to go to the stadium and enjoy a certain player, who I'm going to go and watch? No one.
Now, Serena Wiegmann says she's relaxed about extending her contract with the Lionesses, despite not yet having any talks about it. Her current deal expires after the next World Cup in 2027. Sheffield Wednesday have been handed another 6-point deduction. It relates to a further financial breach under the former owner Defon Chansiri. And the Mercedes F1 driver Kimi Antonelli has been subjected to death threats after Red Bull suggested he deliberately let Lando Norris past him in yesterday's Qatar Grand Prix. More than 1,100 comments were flagged on the 18-year-old's social media. Mercedes say it's total and utter nonsense. Red Bull have apologised. Get more on talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister's insisted the Chancellor did not lie to the public, and more bin misery for people living in Birmingham. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. For a limited time only, get 20% off a set of 4 premium tyres in our Black Friday event. Book today at quickfit.com and drive away happy every time. Conditions apply.
A windy afternoon with spells of rain, local floodings possible in the west where there are weather warnings in place. Cold in the northwest, milder elsewhere.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy? Please tell us what's coming up.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, Danny Kelly goes game by game through the Premier League weekend. There's pyrotechnic.
Here comes the weekend.
Pyrotechnic mayhem with Euro football expert Andy Brassel and actor and I'm a Celeb winner Danny Miller.
Oh, what's the matter with you?
I don't know, I'm still getting over yesterday. Danny Miller pops in to talk Stockport County and the upcoming Emmerdale Corrie matchup.
Have you had a stroke?
I'm looking forward. No, I'm looking forward to a similar Archer's Sopranos match.
Yes. Well, let's have some other telly matchups. They are doing it. Danny's very front and centre in it. They're going to mash up Emmerdale and Corrie in January. So, if you've got any other TV programmes that would work equally as well, we'll run them past Danny later. Andy also brings us some more nonsense by numbers. I think he's already started with the nonsense. We finally get round to Nuns football, and how it's gone down to the wire in the world of F1.
There's all this plus ex-ref Graham Scott on his bogey teams. And what did we learn from the Lionesses' 8-0 win over China? Well, apart from the fact that China can't find 11 people to play football out of about 20 billion.
Yeah. Was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
I expected more. Anyway, we'll chat about that a little bit later on. But it is 7 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. It was a feisty old fixture at the bridge yesterday.
It was. It was just a bit of one of those one-all kicking matches that derbies can often be. A bit too much kicking, really, at times.
But swearing with my grandson. This is my grandson. Oh, swearing.
You took him to the game.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I bet he learned some new words.
Oh, yeah. I said to him, "It's bad today, isn't it?" He went, "Oh no, it's not too bad. It's been worse." I think, "Oh, has it?
It's been worse."
I don't think it has.
You're in a very sweary enclave, aren't you?
know.
You go into a specific swearing section. You ask for it, don't you?
You know, with Anthony Taylor, it just starts after about 2 seconds. The first time he gets the decision wrong. I mean, we'll talk about this. I just feel it's not his fault. I just think the PGMOL are putting him on offer.
Yeah.
Why give him the games? He's got a history with Chelsea. Why give him that game? What's the point? You know, the minute he makes a decision against that, the whole temperature got raised because of him.
Yeah.
That, you know,
I mean, he didn't get the red card wrong.
No, but I think he wanted to let it flow.
Well, he didn't get the red. I mean, he did get the red card wrong because he said it was a yellow.
He sort of got it because he wanted the game to flow. He wanted 11 versus 11 on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I think if VAR hadn't got him, it was a red card. No?
Yeah, it would have been impossible for him not to give it, having watched
If VAR hadn't got involved, you know, then probably it would have been controversial, but it would have been a much.
I wonder if another referee with not so much baggage against Chelsea would have given a red card straight away.
Maybe he would. You know, it's possible. Definitely. It was funny on the weekend though. On Friday night, we're about to sit down to watch Graham Norton, and Miriam Margolyes was on.
Oh yeah,
my wife loves Miriam Margolyes.
Does she really? Yeah.
Me less so.
Okay, yeah, you're not a fan, though.
Not a fan at all.
Right.
And
so what did you do? Did you do a Poznan?
I said to her,
turned away from the telly.
I said to her, "Look, I know you like Miriam Margolyes, so I promise you I won't slag her off during the show."
Right.
So she comes on. Graham says, "Miriam Margolyes," comes on. She's wearing an Arsenal scarf. I went, "Oh, come on."
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah, that's true. I can't blame you for that.
No, it was difficult, but there we go. What can you do?
So, yeah, let's have some TV mashups that you'd like to see. Corrie and Emmerdale. Yeah. I often wondered what would happen if suddenly the Rovers stormed the Queen Vic, like in a kind of football style. Stand, you know what I mean? If it went off between the Queen Vic and the Rovers, who would win? Probably, I would imagine the Queen Vic these days, but there was a time. I don't know. Anyway, we'll have a chat with Danny Miller about this later on and talk about his club, Stockport County, of course. If you were listening on Friday, you'll know his club. Their head chef joined us. They are doing a Christmas dinner and a cup for £4.50.
Look brilliant.
And it did look very nice, so we'll see if Danny's going to partake of one of those. Danny Kelly's going to go game by game through the Premier League weekend. We're going to hear from some of the managers today. It'll be quite interesting to hear from Thomas Frank in around 20 minutes' time to hear what he's got to say. It generally doesn't go particularly well when you go to war with the fans.
What a great idea.
And Tottenham fans have had a bit of a kicking since that game, but you have to put a bit of context on what happened and what that fan base have been going through in that stadium for quite a long time now.
Somebody worked it out. They pay £2,300 for a season ticket.
Yeah.
And the 3 wins that they've had have been worth £766.
Well, a lot of people have been doing that recently.
I can understand it.
I mean, you go 1-0 down against, and there's been all this the talk stuff before from the manager about they're going to be dynamic and front foot.
6 minutes is a disaster.
And then we go out seemingly terrified of every team we play and setting up a system that negates them rather than us getting on the front foot. And then you give away the most ridiculous, pointless goal to go 2-0 down in 6 minutes. People are going to be frustrated. They weren't just booing they didn't boo them on the pitch. They wanted them to do well. Every fan in that stadium wants the team to do well.
Always,
But you have to understand the frustration of when your team is just so abject. And you're behind the 8 ball and effectively have lost the game after 6 minutes. Anyway,
the way the league is this season, anybody can recover. You just win a couple of games, you're right back in it. I was saying to you, everyone thinks Chelsea have had a very good season, which they have, reasonable. Everyone thinks Liverpool have been a disaster. They're like 4 points behind us.
Yeah.
It's a funny old season.
It can turn around very quickly. There's a lot of teams in the frame.
I think my award for the biggest lack of self-awareness of the weekend goes to Joshua Zirkzee.
Oh, yeah.
After not scoring for 364 days, he starts shushing everyone. Oh, come on. Honestly, these players are brilliant, aren't they?
Wasn't quite a year, was it? He was saying to them. Not quite the 365 days. That was the shush.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, and also, we're going to talk about this with Graham Scott. This thing about goalkeepers timeout. We raised this months ago.
Yeah. So when goalkeeper Daniel Farker wasn't happy, was he, the other day when Donnarumma went down, they had a chance to get the whiteboard out and make some changes.
But it's not new, actually. It's now been revealed that Bert Troutman's neck injury in the 56 final, that was tactical.
Was it really?
Apparently, yeah.
But his neck was broken, Andy. We've seen the X-rays, haven't we? Yeah, of course. Now, the other thing is, today, apart from TV mashups you'd like to see, is Wayne Rooney has said he doesn't like Mr. Tumble. Although there was a time on the front page of the tabloids, that was very much his nickname. But he says, Mr. Tumble. He said he was once in the dressing room for Match of the Day and he was next to me. Why was Mr. Tumble? I don't remember that episode of Match of the Day.
Tumble? What, for the Mr.
I remember Gary saying tonight, no, Mr. Tumble. He's it's a TV show. It's a children's telly show. You never. Well, it's not your ear, is it, Andy? You haven't been the same since Muffin the Mule, have you? So, anyway, he doesn't like Mr. Tumble. He says, I don't hate him for what...
that publicly.
Yeah. I don't hate him for what he does. He said, it's just I had to sit through it 4 times a day with every kid. He said, in fact, the reason that I got to go through watching Mr. Tumble again.
Oh, I see, okay.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't want any more kids. Didn't have to. I think we all, as parents, have got TV shows, things that we never forget. And our kids watch shows... and you had to sit there and kind of watch it with them. And in the end, you watch them so many times. I think I could, if I went on to Mastermind, I could probably have as a specialist subject, without a lot of revision, something called Tots TV.
Okay.
It was a TV show involving puppets, one of which was French.
Not Tots the Plumbers.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I can still sing the theme tune.
That's marvellous.
Yeah, and it's got a bit of French in it as well. So I think as parents, if you had a kid specialist subject, if you went on Mastermind, what would it be? A bit like Wayne. Do you understand as a parent what Wayne went through there? Even had the operation, he said, so he wouldn't have to watch Mr. Tumble again. talkSPORT.com. I think he was joking. talkSPORT.com. Text 81089. Tweet TSH and J 03717223344. We're going to go game by game through the Premier League weekend with Danny Kelly, as always. We'll kick off at the Bridge yesterday. We are going to hear from some of the managers this afternoon, as well as the audio emerges from their press conferences. We said Thomas Frank, and never a great idea to go to war with the fans, but we'll see how that Pedro Porro, we'll see how that pans out for everybody. But we'll be keeping an eye on that. We are going to bring you Newcastle Spurs tomorrow evening. Big week of football here on talkSPORT. We're right across it all, of course. So that's all to come. To get in touch, 03717 722 3344, talksport.com/H&J. You can text to 81089. You can tweet to TSH&J. There's TSHANDJ. Danny, up next. You're listening to Hawksbee and Jacobs on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Toolstation. Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. A few people reached out to me on Saturday evening during Picture Slam, the Alan Carr show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm slightly worried I may be the cause of some potential divorces. Mark in Seaburn says that. He said, I've been walking around the house all week going, pick a picture! And now my wife wants me out of the house. A few people have said that, been driving the family mad. I just said I'd got this sort of... I couldn't help myself. Whenever that Alan Carr show is on the Saturday evening, it's on the back, I just keep shouting, pick a picture!
And it didn't come out.
It didn't come out. You go. That's what you sent it to me, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's right. Come on then. Press your button.
Good luck.
Oh, that's Andy's phone there. Anyway, let's move on. More important matters. What is that?
Pick a picture.
Pick a picture. That's it, yeah. I'm sorry about that, folks. And a number of you kind of sat in front of TV shows over the years, kids' telly, and had an underlying effect on you. Andy in the Black Country said, I went through the original and new Fireman Sam with my kids, but in the end I really liked it and would then start watching it when they weren't there.
That's not good.
And got very upset and angry in the new version when Bella wasn't in them. All right, Andy, calm down.
That's a bit
This is Wayne Rooney saying
too much detail.
he had the snip so he wouldn't have to watch Mr. Tumble again. TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet
David Gandy, the
TSMTG.
male model, had a right go at Peppa Pig's dad today in the press.
Of course, it's all kicking off in the world of kids' TV.
It's not right.
Let's move on to more adult matters.
Okay.
The outbreak of violence that was Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Danny Kelly joins us. Good afternoon, Dan.
Well, good afternoon. Glad to see I've been relegated below stories of the Teletubbies. I've been largely humiliated throughout my lengthy radio career, but this is a new low, isn't it?
That's right.
It's marvellous.
Can you hold on, Danny? We want to talk about Tots TV and Mr. Tumble. But anyway, let's move on to more important matters. Yeah, it was just one of those sort of one-all kicking match derbies, really, with the occasional bit of football breaking out in between, wasn't it?
Very enjoyable, yeah. The way a London derby ought to be between two very, very competitive teams. Obviously, Andy will tell me that whether Chelsea are actually training these days with 10 men because they are racking up Wenger style these red cards, aren't they?
It's 4 in 13 games. It's on course for 12 for the season. It's madness. You can't win anything doing that.
No.
Yeah, although they did play really, really well, Chelsea, I thought it was fair to say. And, Arsenal at the other end of the scale, no Gabriel or Saliba for the first time in years that neither of them have appeared for Arsenal. And they found solutions like finding solutions to everything. And, again, Gyökeres is injured. Mikel Merino, he gets only important goals, and it was an important equaliser. And I thought Arsenal might go on to win, but Chelsea are improving. The eye test tells you that whatever about points and all the rest of it, Chelsea are improving incrementally week after week. The victory in the Champions League in the middle of the week must have told the players once again that they are a coming force. And so in the end, both sides can say that they were pleased with the end result. But, Andy's right. Chelsea have got to get those red cards out of the system, otherwise it will cost them eventually. And Arsenal 17 unbeaten in all competitions. Only the best teams put together runs like that.
Oh, yeah, they're a great side. But the first 35 minutes, I thought Chelsea were on top. And we'll never know what would have happened, because if Chelsea had scored, Arsenal might have changed the approach. So you can't say.
I like the fact he was bold. Even with 10 men, Garnacho and Delap came on.
Finally learned his lesson, and he learned from David Moyes as well on Monday night. He showed the right way forward. I must say, criticising the Chelsea fans, the classless, not all of them by any means, but the classless booing of Madueke, we were going mad and saying, this is no class. This boy did nothing wrong. He gave Chelsea 3 years good service. He played really well. We won trophies with him, and we got 30 million.
He did an angle for a move, didn't he?
£30 million profit on him, and he never badmouthed the club when he left. So why'd you boo a player like that? It's not like Sol Campbell or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was really classless by these people that did that.
Well, okay, you've put them in their place, Andy. But, no Saliba, no Gabriel, and, of course, Chelsea score from a set piece from a corner, quite noticeably, yeah. So it's going to be look, the other guys are getting their feet under the table, but they're not the same, are they? And we'll see in the fullness of time.
Boring to watch Arsenal, though. They take an age over every restart. It's deliberate. It's deliberate to try and disturb the concentration of the defence. So free kicks, throw-ons, corners. I mean, you just sit there waiting and waiting. I'll get on with it. Really.
I mean, it's interesting, Andy. It's academically interesting, at least, that it's the opposite to what the same club used to do under Arsene Wenger, where, if you remember, the multi-ball and all the rest of it, their thing was to play millions of passes in the game, have as much movement in the game as possible, make it go as fast as they can about everything to overwhelm the opposition.
Yeah.
Arsenal's new team is all about controlling every moment and every facet of the game.
Let's move on then to West Ham 0, Liverpool 2. Again, it's a really sad build-up to the game with the death of Billy Bonds.
Yeah,
a player that all of us remember watching. He was one of those players, even if he didn't play for your club, you loved Billy Bonds because he was a proper old-school, wholehearted player, wasn't he?
Paul, that's right. Thank you for giving us just a few seconds to pay tribute to Billy Bonds there. I mean, in my opinion, the best Englishman never to get a single cap for his country. It was no problem to him. He looked like a pirate as well, which was really good, with the long hair and the beard at various times in his career. And you're absolutely right. It's one of those players who you wished played for your club. And there are very few of those normally. And I did mention to this, I think I said it on social media yesterday, during an interview I did with him, some years ago. I said to Billy, I always wished that you'd have played for Spurs. He gave me a look that could be best described as old-fashioned. I didn't press the subject, put it no more strongly than that. A real great man, and what a loss.
Martin Samuel made the point that though it was very nice that Jared Brown laid the shirt out in front of the stand, it would have been better if it had been a proper West Ham shirt with light blue sleeves. I know people are funny about stuff like that, but I know what he means.
I mean, there was very little time. The news only broke just before the game, but it was incredibly sad.
I'm sure there'll be further tributes to him at West Ham because he's one of their absolute bedrocks, isn't he?
Absolutely.
But Paquetá, I mean, seriously, how can you... I was only listening to the game, and the commentators are saying, no, he won't leave the referee. Allison's saying to him, go away. Everybody's trying to stop him, but he won't go. He keeps going. I mean, it wasn't like the highlights. It went on and on and on. And you think, you're mad. And then he blames the FA for his behaviour. I'm sorry, but that's just not on.
Oh, it was... I mean, look, one doesn't want to make facile comparisons, but on the day that Billy Bonds was being honoured, to see a West Ham midfielder just lose his rag like that. I mean, his own team, the opposition were trying to stop him. Alisson Becker, of course, he plays with him in the Brazil national team, came out and physically wrestled him away, but he was determined to get sent off. And the statement afterwards, all right, saying that he got no support during the 2 years that his gambling issues were being investigated, of which he's been found innocent. But given the proximity. His own father has been found guilty of some of those accusations. You think, rather than bringing this up on social media, you just want to distance yourself as far as you could from it. Really, I mean, I don't know what got into him. I don't know what got into him. But I spoke to Tim Vickery about this on Trans Europe Express last night, and he is a notorious hothead, as to quote Tim, even by Brazilian standards.
Right, okay, yeah. I mean, from a Liverpool point of view, Arne Slot freshened things up. He was bold in putting Salah on the bench. I mean, he got a goal out of Isak, and he got a better performance out of Wirtz. So
that was a proper Isak finish, actually.
Yeah, so he would argue job. Maybe this could be the lift-off. Who knows?
Well, maybe the question is. That hasn't been answered is the problem is fitting two very undefensive players in Mo Salah, legend of course, and Christian Wirtz in the team at the same time, because the lack of Salah certainly freed up Wirtz creatively. Look, predicting the end of Mo Salah is a fool's game, because there were people asking the same questions about a year ago, and he went on to have an absolutely amazing season. But time catches up with everybody. Well, that's just one that he's got to watch very, very closely.
Danny Kelly's with us, and we're going to keep going game by game through the Premier League weekend. We'll move on to Forest 0, Brighton 2 very shortly. The latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast is out now. Majestic and Alan Pardew round up all the weekend's Premier League action after Arsenal and Chelsea draw at the Bridge and Spurs lose at home to Fulham. If you want to hear more than that, you can go to the talkSPORT Daily, which is available on all good podcast platforms now.
talkSPORT's Martin Keown thinks Chelsea's ill discipline cost them 3 points at home to Arsenal.
The back four at the end of the game, there was only one member of the regular back four still on the pitch. Calafiori had to go off because he'd had a booking. So all in all, I think Arsenal will be happy with that.
Enzo Maresca has no complaints about Caicedo's first half red card in the 1-1 draw, while Simon Jordan says Chelsea can win the Premier League again, just not this season.
It looks to me like that Chelsea are going to be the people that are going to perhaps push Arsenal. Liverpool are going to find themselves, they're going to recover, and all of this nonsense about Liverpool will find itself getting together. Man City are not the same team as they were.
Johan Wissa is closer to making his Newcastle debut following a knee injury. Eddie Howe says Wissa's playing a full training game and will play another this week.
Everything's positive, but he will be back involved when we think he's able to contribute to the group and has a minimal chance of re-injury.
Newcastle versus Spurs is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Meanwhile, former Spurs striker Meadows questioned the mentality of the current squad, who have just 5 points from 7 home games this season. And Meadows doesn't think Thomas Frank has any players worth watching.
With all the respect to all the players that we have, we don't have a player like Kane. We don't have a player like Robbie Keane. We don't have a player like Son, of course.
Serena Wiegmann hasn't had any talks about extending her England contract, but says she's very relaxed about it.
I'm still really enjoying the job. I think the team is still enjoying that I'm around. I think that's really, really important too.
Wiegmann's current deal expires at the end of the 2027 World Cup. Hampden Park, meanwhile, is being renamed in a sponsorship deal. Scotland's national stadium is now called Barclays Hampden. And Ascot Racecourse has announced record prize money of £19.4 million from next year, an increase of £1.65 million. There's more on talksport.com.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Danny Kelly's with us. We're going game by game through the Premier League weekend. And Danny, we move on to Nottingham Forest 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. An interesting game. Forest slightly stopped in their tracks.
Such an advantage for the teams that don't play in Europe versus the teams who play on Thursday. There's no question about it.
Brighton had so many chances for scoring before half-time. It could have been a whole lot worse, couldn't it? I think it was some kind of Premier League record in terms of chances created.
Yeah, I mean, look, Andy's right, and we'll see it. We saw that with Crystal Palace, which we'll come on to, no doubt, that these particular teams playing Thursday, it can be a real struggle. But also, I thought when I was looking at this game prior to it, didn't Forest win 7-0 last season? Brighton are not that bad a team. And Forest have gone backwards and are coming forward again. I always thought there was a chance that some residual revenge here, because that was one of the really most surprising hammerings of the season. And as we keep saying, Brighton just improve incrementally season after season. Andy made the point last week that their old boys are central to what they do, and I only saw the highlights of this game, I've got to be honest, but it looked to me like every time Nottingham Forest tried to do something, Duncan Van Hecker were just absolutely immovable. Form result really, isn't it, because Brighton are improving again.
Yeah, they're doing well, no question.
Yeah, and that is very true. I mean, they're going to have an update, I think, this afternoon on Gibbs White and Murillo. Murillo went off, and he's always a big miss for Forest.
Huge loss, yeah.
So we're going to see what the news is.
I think we're going to see midweek a lot of players missing, a lot of rotation.
Yeah, because it is pretty relentless. We've got Europe again next week. Everybody's trying to manage their players, those that are playing midweek. So we'll come on to Palace, Manchester United later on. Maybe we saw a bit of that then, but I'm afraid we have to reach the thorny issue of Tottenham 1. Fulham 2, Danny.
I'll just go and make a cup of tea and leave you two.
No, well, we won't dwell on it for too long because it'll drive everybody mad. But if you can, for a deeper dive, go to the View from the Lane podcast if you want to. But anyway, it's going to war with the fans. I think, Danny, always very dangerous business. I can think of the players.
Tends to only have one winner, doesn't it, in the long run? I'm amazed. I'm astonished that the manager, Pedro Porro, Vicario, Sarr have all gone to different places in public forums, some online, some on television, to pull out some of the Spurs fans. For Thomas Frank to go straight to they're not real Tottenham fans, mate, you've been there 3 months. Some of those people booing might have been there 50 years. They pay to go to that stadium. You are paid to attend. I'm going to make no excuses for him. He speaks perfect English. Stupid and not fair. I wouldn't boo the players during the match myself. But people are entitled to support their club any way they want, and it was nuts. And the subsequent story that the players now have to meet in the middle of the pitch because they're so frightened of going off individually. For the first time in football history, Paul, and this is a preview of the View from the Lane, we have a situation where the fans have lost the dressing room. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Yes. I mean, look, there's been pockets of this over the years. I remember Ramon Vega getting booed in a game and, say, Sol Campbell reacting. Never a great thing.
Davison Sanchez got booed very unfairly. These things happen. But for the players, particularly Porro, to come out, and he used the word real fans again in his Instagram thing. There's fundamental problems at Spurs, more than's going on the pitch. And after the Chelsea game, I was being told by people that the business with Van der Ven and Jed Spence ignoring the manager coming off the pitch was nothing. Just one of those things. No, it's not. It was clear that something is wrong at that club.
Yeah, it's a great win for Fulham, and they were good for it. They exploited all of the many Tottenham weaknesses and could have been 5-0 up at half-time if it wasn't for Van der Ven.
He came at it with some credit. The second goal, for the fans of every other club, was one of those comedy classics where not only did the goalkeeper got the ball in an adjacent postal district, but decided that the correct response to losing the ball would be to jog back as a Sunday morning in a local park, while two of his fellow defenders, defying the logic of 150 years of association football, decided not to retreat back to the line to cover the goalkeeper.
No, it was.
But Fulham took full advantage of a team that's now paranoid at home.
And so it was staggeringly inept, and then the fan base have watched the team go down 2-0 in 6 minutes after they've talked up their performance before the game. Are supposed to have a ripple of polite applause at that point, are they? Well, I mean, it's an emotional game. It was in the moment, and a lot of people that booed in that moment probably didn't go on and do it again to Vicario. But you've got to have a bit of context on what happened, I think.
Yeah. If you want the whole context, Vicario came out a few weeks ago and said that the team needed more help from the crowd, and I wonder whether there was some residual resentment to that, because at the moment that's all one way. That the usual virtuous circle, team inspires crowd, crowd inspires team. At the moment, nobody's doing much inspiring at that stadium. I wasn't there, but I've spoken to perhaps a dozen people who were, Andy, and we all know about Newcastle under Mike Ashley. I don't think I've heard a more strange atmosphere at a football club, and because the usual lightning rod for half a decade of frustration, Daniel Levy, is not there anymore.
No.
So it's swirling around in strange ways.
Very weird times. We're going to hear from Thomas Frank very shortly.
Vicario was blaming after he'd passed it straight to the Fulham.
He was having a go at Udogie for some reason.
I couldn't work that out.
That was ludicrous as well. Absolutely ludicrous.
So we move on then to Aston Villa 1, Wolves 0. A fine winning goal from Camara.
Wolves had some chances. I only saw the highlights.
No, they did. Again, Wolves had some really good chances. They had one. The last kick of the game was a good save from Martinez from a corner. Wolves could have got something out of it. And there are signs that Rob Edwards is making that a little bit harder to score against.
But using the Casado scale, Arias should have been sent off.
Yes.
I mean, as should Betancourt against Chelsea. If you it's either always a red card or it's never a red card.
I think Betancourt wasn't sent off against Chelsea because I think it would have been too humiliating to lose 4-0 to 10 men. I think the ref was doing Tottenham a favour. But yes, it was. Yeah. There's maybe some positive sign for Wolves, but maybe it's too little too late. I don't know.
You know what, Paul? It occurred to me watching them this weekend that they have significantly picked up new manager bounce, whatever you want to call it. The other teams above them are making such slow progress in the season. There was a part of me that wants to say, what if they won 3 games, one after the other? Say a couple of games against other threatened teams at Molineux. It's maybe not over them, but all the logic and all of the past history suggests that the number of points they got at this stage, they're done. Rob Edwards at least has decided kind of among the sort of plethora of imported players that Wolves got, who are his starters, and even that seems to have stabilised the team a bit. But of course, Aston Villa are in great form, and when you're in great form against a team that isn't, you tend to get the break that comes your way, and somebody will lamp one in from outside the area. Though let's not put it down to luck. No. Aston Villa buy a lot of raffle tickets from outside the area, don't they?
Absolutely, and he didn't look happy though. Emery wasn't happy with the performance. I mean, they'd had a midweek game again, which feeds into it, but he didn't look totally happy. But look, it was all about the result, really, more than the performance. Let's move on then to Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 2, and I was just chatting to our own Ian Morris, who's a Palace fan, one of our management team here. Worrying times for Palace fans. I think when you Oliver Glasner talk the way he did about feeling didn't get the players and getting them in January is going to be too late, not having the depth of squad, you could see his frustration when he was chatting to his coaches after Manchester United went 2-1 up. It doesn't bode well, does it?
It doesn't look good, and I suspect, the way that managers, even the most benign managers like Oliver Glasner, they see their careers going. He knows that his stock could never be higher than it is now. Palace are roaring along in the Premier League, with this defeat notwithstanding. They've won a trophy. And if he feels that he's not being supported enough, I suppose he's entitled to express it. But it could be interpreted by Palace fans, and Ian may be right, as a come-and-get-me plea from a manager. We saw the historic double-touch penalty decision in this game.
Yeah.
I still haven't quite worked. I mean, I know it's probably so simple that a primary school child could tell me what's happening. If you double-touch it and it goes in, you have to take it again, as we saw at the weekend with Matete. Yep. If you double touch it and you miss, that's an indirect free kick to the defending team. Is that right?
I think that's you are the ref. Yeah, I think it probably is. Yeah. So a few players training. Mason Mount showing more. Well taken goal. Xerxes scoring. So Andy was quite impressed with his shushing because it was nearly a year since he'd scored.
64 days.
Maybe he was being funny.
Who was he shushing, Andy? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, look, that's a good away win for Manchester United.
Yeah, a reminder, Mount and Xerxes both doing that thing that happens at Manchester United where teams, good players, get absolutely subsumed by the mediocrity of how they're trying to play and stuff. Every now and again, they just put their head above the parapet. Don't forget me, I'm here, I'm a good player. Mason Mount's a good player, but you wouldn't know it for the last 2 years, would you?
No, it's true. Well, we're going to move on to a very under-the-weather Everton being well beat by Newcastle at home, and a big win on the road. It seems to be a weekend for wins on the road. We'll look at that one. We'll hoover up the remaining games with Danny Kelly very shortly. We're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station. Danny Kelly's with us. We're reflecting on the Premier League weekend. We've got a full programme midweek, and talkSPORT is going to bring you exclusive commentary of all 10 Premier League games this week, including Newcastle Spurs, Liverpool Sunderland, Arsenal Brentford, Manchester United v West Ham. The best place to follow all the games is by downloading the talkSPORT app. Some of the games will be app exclusive, of course, because there's so many of them, and clicking the live game you want to hear. So pretty straightforward. You can listen to all our sister stations as well once you've downloaded it. So don't miss out on any of the action. Just download the talkSPORT app today. We move on then to Everton 1, Newcastle 4. Newcastle been searching for a big away win, and they picked it up at Hill Dickinson. Bit of a surprise, really, from an Everton point of view.
Part of a very strange Saturday in the Premier League.
It was, but I mean, Newcastle were excellent. You know, some important goals. Malik Chow getting a couple, looking very good. The two fullbacks were excellent. Very good away performance by Newcastle, Danny.
Absolutely, and you know, football clubs are often very closely matched going into these games, and so sometimes you just have a good day. And if you're Newcastle, if Malik Chow scores in the first minute and then goes on to get two, and if you get a helping hand from the normally super reliable Jordan Pickford, it's your day, isn't it? Pickford, when the second goal went in with a Rickford, if you like, it was obviously going to be Newcastle's day. And it's kind of amazing, isn't it? It's all about perception week by week in the Premier League. Newcastle and Spurs are now on identical points. They've got the same record, and Spurs have scored more goals. One team is clearly in free fall, and the other is, getting back. An away win was essential. They haven't won for a very long time.
Yeah.
Getting back to we can see that Newcastle are gradually sorting themselves out. Visser is coming back into training day and all the rest of it. So they're on an upward curve, it's fair to say. And Everton will just have to put that down to experience, because, as I say, when Malik Chow, who for all his talents would not be regarded as a great goal scorer, when he's banging them in from the very first minute, you know it's not going to be an afternoon for you to enjoy.
I think that thing, though, you come off a great win at Old Trafford with 10 men, confidence and everything must have been high. Then you concede after 55 seconds.
I think it was the early goal that did for Everton. They never quite recovered
Dennis
from that.
Bergkamp-style goal
The
Dewsbury Hall.
I mean, it was an excellent goal, wasn't it? Yeah, we've talked that. What a finish, taking it out of the air. But it was in a long line of great goals that meant nothing really. A bit like the Adams goal in the game we're going to come up with in a minute. Voltemade, and just how well he has adapted very quickly to the Premier League. Maybe it's easier as a front man than it is sometimes as a midfielder, because his mate Florian Wirtz has not adapted quite so quickly. I don't know what you think, Danny.
I think Liverpool are in a kind of spinning transition, and Newcastle, when everyone is fit, are a very good team, and it's easy to play up front and get in front of that midfield, which, you know, on its day is as good as anything the Premier League has to offer. It also helps that there was a misapprehension when he got there. People thought they were buying a target man, and he's not like that at all. He is a much more skilled player than his beanpole appearance would give you a reason to believe. But very little was known about him, because he'd only had one good season in Germany. He'd come out of the lower leagues, and so but he's done great. He looks great, and suddenly, from nowhere, you can start to see with him and Wirtz. Then is there a chance that Germany are going to be dark horses for the World Cup coming up?
No.
I'm just getting some quotes from the Thomas Frank press conference. He has just said, "We are nothing without the fans. Tottenham Hotspur is nothing without the fans. My point was that during matches we need each other. Afterwards, booing can be fair, not gooing.
During would be terrible.
During, we need to make it a fortress, and to do that, we need to be together." So that's, I don't know what your immediate reaction to that is, Danny.
Well, I mean, my immediate reaction to that is that you could have said that after the game and saved yourself a lot of bother. But I presume he knew what he was doing. The players appear to have taken against the fans as well. It needs sorting out. How that's going to happen, I have no idea, Paul.
It just heaps more pressure on the players, because they'll be more nervous, they'll be more anxious when they play, and obviously the fans don't want that. They want them to perform.
But Paul, the difference is between us being nervous in the stand and them being nervous on the pitch. They can do something about it. We can't.
That's very true.
But it is interesting, because Thomas Frank, we're going to come on to Brentford. He's come from a ground where it makes all the difference. That home support, only 18,000 in the ground, but they are like the 12th man versus this massive stadium, which is a bit of an albatross in a way because it costs so much.
The atmosphere, when it's going well, is fantastic in that stadium. It's loud. I mean, we talked to Adrian, a man not easily impressed. He said, when in the new stadium, when the crowd get going, it is a fantastic atmosphere. And we've heard players already say that they are affected by it, but not at the moment, not when it's toxic like this. Anyway, let's move on. Sunderland 3, Bournemouth 2. Well, this is an amazing game, wasn't it?
Good game, yeah.
This is more like it.
Yeah, some great goals. A bought penalty. I've never been a great fan of the bought penalty. When a player just puts their leg in front of another player's leg to buy a pen, for me, that's not a pen, but I know by the letter of the law it is, really.
No, but the letter of the law is wrong in this case, isn't it? Because that is as much that's simulation to all intents and purposes. It is
effectively, isn't it? If you buy the contact, I've never been a massive fan, but anyway, look, they got away with it. Alex Scott did.
It was a great advert for playing every game in heavy rain.
Yeah.
I always think it improves the game because the ball moves quickly, the players slide around. It was really good.
The most reluctant finish as well. Evan Nielsen, the minute he knows he touches that ball in from Semenya, he knows he's blown it, and he knows. Could he have left it?
Absolutely.
It's a real game.
It might have hit the inside of the post and gone in. It might have come out.
As soon as he touched it, though, he was offside, and he knew he was offside, wasn't he? Oh, it was nuts.
But Iriola,
I suppose you'd argue, Paul, it's a striker's instinct. You'd want him to be trying to get the ball across the line. But a bit of our old friend common sense might have been implied to that, but I'm not on the pitch running around, am I?
All the time he keeps scoring, and it's always a great joy when commentators are going, Brobby. Yeah, we sort of.
But Iriola, very critical of the ref. He's going to get a fine for that. He'll get a slap on the wrist at least.
Yeah, he was having a bit of a go at the ref.
Do that.
And a bit of a naughty one, I think, from Cook, the elbow. Bit naughty, bit Sunday morning, that, wasn't it, really?
And it looked because it looked you can that thing where you turn your head slightly or shift your eyes slightly. It was premeditated as well. Horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one, but a fantastic result for Sunderland, who they proved it against Arsenal. I mean, again, we're talking about Chelsea's bold subs. I think they were the same. Sunderland were the same. Very bold substitutions and getting back into the game.
The campaign they're having is really important for the Premier League's integrity.
It is.
For season after season, if all the promote teams go back down, not only are they going to stay up, but they're showing that you puff your chest out. You've got to have, you've got to have players as well. But they're going for teams that are better equipped than them, more financially sound than them, and all the rest of it. And they're getting results off the back of it. They're the most important team in the Premier League this season for the good of the Premier League.
Good recruitment, good.
We are running out of time. We are going to talk Leeds later on in our defence with Tom Clayton. So let's just focus on City as we look at that game. Yeah, I mean, a wonderful finish by Foden for the winner. But
Brilliant.
They made very, very hard work of it, didn't they?
Well, I think the follow-up to that is the press conference this morning. Guardiola's press conference lasted less than 2 minutes as he said, I don't know to the questions, as he tried to avoid the question about Donnarumma faking injury. Now, I'm not to have a go here because it's all Spurs doing exactly the same thing the other day. But it can be. I mean, his position in the game is such that he can be what he likes, Pep Guardiola. But he can be a really, really unattractive figure when he starts doing this thing. And of course, he was fed up because City didn't play very convincingly again.
Yeah.
And Leeds genuinely tested them by going long and saying, "All right, then, you face your own goal and play." And if it wasn't for the brilliance of Foden, and I mean that throughout the game, not just his finish, they might have been a very different result on the day.
They're skittish like Pep, though. That's exactly, they reflect him, and that's the way they play. They could have been 5-0 up at half.
But just that extra quality, of course, which Leeds lack ultimately. It was a great fight, but I'm going to talk about Leeds later with Tom Clayton. Brentford 3, Burnley 1, a game that came to life after 81 minutes.
Yeah,
really.
I decided not to go, which for 81 minutes...
should have gone for the last 10, 15
like
minutes.
a tremendous decision, but no.
Listen, in the last 10 minutes, I should say, 4 goals, 8 substitutions. So total chaos, and managers often think they're making substitutions to bring stability to the game. I often reflect what they do is bring instability to their own team. The changes they might seem small to the manager, but they seem to unravel games very, very quickly. I think the takeaway from this is that Brentford have done it again, haven't they, with Igor Thiago?
Yeah.
11 goals now. Admittedly, he takes the penalties. he has a choice. He is qualified to play for Bulgaria. But Brazil are not so well fixed for centre forwards that he couldn't make a late run. I suspect the lad at Chelsea will be the chosen one by Ancelotti come the summer.
Had he not missed half the season with injury last season, you kind of wonder, he probably would have been well ensconced in the Brazil team.
It was
for
a
the
yellow for a terrible dive by Hannibal.
It was a proper Norman Wisdom job. With I don't see, with cameras there, Danny, I really don't see how they think they're going to get away with a dive these days.
One doesn't want to be part of that thing of pretending that footballers are stupid, but when they do that, it's very hard to deny the evidence of your own eyes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean academically stupid. I mean sportingly stupid. You just think, but then when you see Vicario trotting back to an empty goal, when you see Hannibal, who's a bit big for pretending to dive, he's got a long way to go. The referee's got forever to make the decision, hasn't he? You do think, come on, guys, wake yourselves up.
Danny, nice one. We'll catch up with you next week.
Hopefully, Paul, in better circumstances.
Yes, we'll see. Danny Kelly there, Trans Europe Express available. If you missed it last night, the podcast's available now. And Andy Brassel, who co-presents it with Danny, will be joining us later on. There was a lot of pyrotechnics around Europe. Certainly at Ajax, it cost them the actual fixture, which was called off. It's a nut story if you haven't seen it. We'll bring you more on that in the next hour. Yes, we're around Europe later on, and Graham Scott, top Premier League referee of the past, will be joining us to look at some of the big calls over the weekend and some potential law changes as well. But first, Tom Clayton has the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon. talkSPORT's Martin Keown thinks Chelsea's ill-discipline cost them 3 points at home to Arsenal. Enzo Maresca has no complaints about Caicedo's first-half red card in the 1-1 draw, while Simon Jordan says Chelsea can win the Premier League again, just not this season.
it looks to me like that Chelsea are going to be the people that are going to perhaps push Arsenal. Liverpool are going to find themselves, they're going to recover, and all of this nonsense about Liverpool will find itself getting together. Man City are not the same team as they were.
Meanwhile, Johan Wiss is closer to making his Newcastle debut following a knee injury. Eddie Howe says Wiss has played a full training game and will play another this week.
Everything's positive, but he will be back involved when we think he's able to contribute to the group and has a minimal chance of re-injury.
Newcastle v Spurs is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Meanwhile, former Spurs striker Meadows questioned the mentality of the current squad, who have just 5 points from 7 home games this season. And he doesn't think Thomas Frank has any players worth watching.
With all the respect to all the players that we have, we don't have a player like Kane. We don't have a player like Robbie Keane. We don't have a player like Son, of course.
Now, Sarina Wiegman hasn't had any talks about extending her England contract, but she says she's very relaxed about it.
I'm still really enjoying the job. I think the team is still enjoying that I'm around. I think that's really, really important too.
Wiegman's current deal expires at the end of the 2027 World Cup. And Sheffield Wednesday have been slapped with another 6-point deduction. It's over financial breaches, while owned by Dafon Shansiri. Get more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister has defended the Chancellor, saying she did not lie to the public before the budget. And agency workers sent to clear Birmingham streets have also gone on strike. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Visit quickfit.com for huge savings on tyres, servicing, batteries, wipers and more in our Black Friday event. And drive away happy every time. Conditions apply.
Wet and windy across the UK, possible flooding in South Wales and North West England. Cold in the northwest, milder elsewhere.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to be joined by Emmerdale actor Danny Miller, of course, who won I'm a Celeb a couple of years back. He's a big Stockport County fan. We're going to be chatting to him. He's popping into the studio. He's going to tell us more about the Emmerdale Corrie mashup, which is just around the corner. The two soaps are coming together in one episode.
Is that going to work?
Well, we'll find out. We'll also be chatting to Angelina Kelly. What did we learn from England 8 China 0? Probably not a great deal. And a pretty high-profile injury in the world of women's football. Before that, though, to guide us around Europe, some of the big stories of the weekend. The other half of Trans-Europe Express, we were chatting to Danny Kelly in the last hour. It's Andy Brassel. Good afternoon, Andy.
Afternoon, how are you both?
Good, thanks. Let's start. We don't normally start with the Eredivisie, but we will today. The producer's friend went over to Amsterdam to take in a game at the weekend, but never saw a game. He saw a heck of a firework display, but then the game was called off. I mean, it was staggering, wasn't it? But it was. I think it was to celebrate the life of an Ajax fan. But everybody just took boxes of fireworks in with them.
Yeah, so this is a situation where the producer's friend did get to see 6 minutes of football before it was called off between Ajax and Groningen. The fireworks went off once. It was, as you say, for the F-side ultras, a member of theirs had died, so they wanted to commemorate that. Now, as is protocol in the Eredivisie, the referee stopped the game. And there was a sign on the big screen and an announcement made over the tannoy saying, you need to not do this again, otherwise we're going to have to pull the game. So the response to that was even more fireworks. So if you've seen the pictures online, it's basically a whole stand behind the goal where it seems like everyone's got a firework on the go, all red, with the screen above it saying fireworks are forbidden, which is quite the sort of contradiction of course, everything's going really badly for Ajax on and off the field at the moment. So this is really the last thing that they needed on top of everything else. What it means is the remaining 84 minutes of this game will be played tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon, local time. So maybe you can get it on the phone while you're on air, fellas. I don't know, but not going to be that atmospheric, and not the first time in recent years that Ajax have had to play the remainder of a game behind closed doors.
Yeah, I mean, apparently everybody was saying, well, we did thorough searches knowing this would happen. but all the Ajax fans were saying, no, people were just wandering in with boxes of fireworks. And there was a game in Sweden that was disrupted when the pitch caught fire after. I mean, you can't get into some grounds with a plastic bottle top, so it seems you can get into some games around Europe with fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, look. The bottom line is you've got to know the stewards. Yeah, I mean, I remember going to a game between Panathinaikos and Olympiakos in Greece, and we were filming something outside the ground at like 11 in the morning, and the game wasn't until 9, and there were like some ultras turning up with just boxes of fireworks to just put them under the seats. So really, searching people inside the ground on the way inside the ground is almost a bit too late. Now, Ajax said they had it covered. They were really angry about it. Obviously, there's financial loss as well as sporting loss to do with them. There might be some Eredivisie punishment as well. So there are a few extra elements to this, something that they don't really want to deal with at the moment. And if you're Robin van Persie's son, Shaquille, you're thinking, hang on, I made my Eredivisie debut this weekend. Shouldn't they be talking about me instead?
Wow. Now, in the Bundesliga, Uli Hoeneß of Bayern Munich and Germany fame has given a pretty incendiary interview.
One of his usual entitled.
He's got stuck into everybody.
I know, what a shock, Andy. What a shock.
I feel sorry for Wirtz because he didn't go to Bayern. Honestly,
he says he was obviously made promises by Slot that they haven't kept. He hardly sees any of the ball. I mean, it's a pretty far-reaching.
He'll be eating his words. Wirtz will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no extra grime with Liverpool or them, but I'd love to see Liverpool now beat them in the Champions League the way he's got stuck into them. He also said the right not to sign Simons and Gittins and other players as well.
I mean, this is where he is now, of course, because he doesn't really have any direct influence. He's not an executive now, having been finger on the button with Karl-Heinz Rummenigge for so many years. That they kind of occupy this Stadler and Waldorf territory where they're not making the decisions, but they're making a noise and kind of upsetting everyone at the same time. Now, of course, the Wirtz thing is what interests people who follow the Premier League and completely understand that. I mean, for what it's worth, they've been dying to say the same thing about Nick Voltemade, but obviously he's been doing really well.
Yeah, so they can't.
The real thing, though, in this interview that really upset the Bayern fans, and they put up a banner about it in the win over St. Pauli on Saturday, is that he said he was open to the end of 50+1, the unique system in the Bundesliga where the fans retain control of the club, vote in presidents and all that sort of stuff, and can have real power in the club. And it's funny enough, after they put up this banner saying 50+1 is what makes football tick over here, and Uli, you should know that, because they've always backed him, Bayern fans as well, even when he got sent to prison for tax evasion. There were scarves professing their support for him and all the rest of it. And then he did this business leaders conference in Munich last night at the Olympiahalle, and he sat there and said, well, what these ultras should know is clubs where ultras run the club, like Nuremberg and Schalke, they all end up flat on their faces. So they should leave it to the guys who know what they're doing. It's like, at some point, you've got to stop digging. Really, come on.
He also said that he thinks Harry Kane will see out his contract, and they're very hopeful he'll extend it. He says his family are very happy.
Good news for Barcelona then, in that case.
Yes, so we'll see what happens. And he also said, Meccano, he thinks will sign a new contract.
He probably wasn't very happy that Arsenal turned them over.
No, he probably wasn't. In France, meanwhile, Lens, top of the league for the first time in 21 years, Andy.
Yeah, that's right. And really, when they were top 21 years ago, it was in August. So I didn't really count, and this was a completely different era. So you're talking about a team that Will Still did really well to get into 8th place last season, despite the fact he had a load of players sold from under him. They shrunk the budget even more this summer. They've got a novice sporting director in Jean-Louis Leca, who used to be their goalkeeper, and a brilliant coach, though, in Pierre Sage, who got Lyon from 7 points from the first 14 games to European qualification in the same season. And then John Textor binned him. So Lyon's loss is very much Lyon's gain. They brought back Florian Thauvin. He's a really good signing, in his best form in years, come back to France after Marseille, Tigres, Udinese. And at 32, he's got himself back into the France squad. He's playing so well. They were able to get to the top, though, because Monaco beat PSG on Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night, for the second time this season, Marseille were able to go top with a win at home against inferior opposition, and they managed to concede a stoppage time goal, in this case against Toulouse. And it's interesting because Roberto De Zerbi, who's become a lot calmer, a lot more sanguine this season, and it's really benefited the club, he would have been raging 6 months ago, and on this occasion he just looked like he wanted to cry. full time. But they're very much in the race. And it's such a good thing for France that we're into December and you've got two genuine competitors for PSG. Whether it will last or not is a different question. But if there's ever a season it's going to happen, with the schedule that PSG have had and with the injuries that they're going to continue to get throughout this season, and I think their inconsistent performance at Monaco at the weekend was a good example of that, this is the season, I would say.
In of looking like you're crying, though, Hansi Flick had to be consoled, didn't he, by Rafinha? That was an odd situation. What caused all that? Because they won, didn't they?
Yeah, and this was towards the end of the game. And Flick actually explained it at a press conference because they're playing Atletico Madrid tomorrow. There's a full La Liga slate this week. And he said, two of his assistants have been sent off. And Marcus Sorg, who's like basically his best friend and his top assistant, was sent off. And he said he was halfway through a conversation with him and didn't get all his points across. He was already frustrated with the way that Barcelona were playing. He said it was just a real build-up of frustration because people have been saying it's because Barcelona haven't been playing well recently, because they got thwacked by Chelsea in the week, all of that sort of stuff. But it's interesting. Rafinha, of course, who's been kept out by Marcus Rashford for a little while. Of course, he was injured for a while there. This is the first game against Alaves, the 3-1 win at the weekend that he'd started since September. Rafinha came back in, played really well, played the first hour, and then, of course, consoled Hansi Flick. He's the captain. He's a real leader in the dressing room. And it underlines that however well Marcus Rashford has played, he's played irreproachably, really, over the last couple of months, he's still second choice to Rafinha and Yamal.
Just very quickly, Andy, the Seville derby got a bit ugly, didn't it? Sevilla Betis.
Yeah, that's right. It normally does. Bear in mind, in previous editions of the Sevilla Betis derby, you've had a fight in the director's box over who's got the biggest car park. That's kind of part of the course. And then, of course, Monchi was the one who really lit the blue touch paper, because last time he was there for a derby, when he was still sporting director in his second spell, he held out this big flag with the 6 UEFA Cup / Europa Leagues on it, and it said, "We're going to sing the hymn now," as in we're going to sing our club hymn now. So obviously the Betis fans / official social accounts have been going, "We're going to sing the hymn now," off the back of that. The game was stopped for a little bit as well, with bottle throwing from the biddies, the home ultras, towards the Betis players. Both sets of players were sort of taken off by the referee, but they didn't really want to go off because they were like, "We're winning 2-0. There's 5 minutes left. Can we not just get on?"
Danny Kelly every Sunday night on Trans-Europe Express, and you can download the podcast now if you didn't catch the show last night, for a deeper dive into all the stories from the world of European football. Now, this Saturday, the Brits Shabazz Massoud and Peter McGrail, known as Holy in the dressing room, headline in Monaco for the EBU European title with a stacked undercard featuring Pat McCormack and Johnny Fisher. You can watch live this Saturday only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT on Saturday evening. England beat China. Was it Saturday evening? I think I've lost track. It was, wasn't it? I caught some of the game. England beat China 8-0. And you think, what was the point of that in a World Cup year?
None.
I suppose it's hands across the water. But anyway, let's have a chat with women's football expert. We're going to touch on Manchester United. She's part of the Inside Devils team here on talkSPORT. Angelina Kelly. Hi, Angelina.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. It was very easy. It was a sort of changed England team. I suppose it was a chance to try some other players out, but was that the result you kind of expected?
It was, to be honest. I was there at Wembley for talkSPORT, and I'll be honest, I could barely keep up with those goals. It was 4 goals in about 11 minutes. It was non-stop. I mean, England did face China at the 2023 World Cup, and they won 6-1. You could argue that game should have actually been 7-0 because Lauren James had a goal disallowed that shouldn't have been disallowed, and China were rewarded a penalty in that game that they probably shouldn't have had. So 7-0 in my mind from the last fixture. It was what I was expecting. I mean, you had Anna Morehouse, who made a debuting goal at the age of 30 because Hannah Hampton and Kiara Keaton were both injured. So that was a special moment for her. I mean, it was a sellout crowd. There was just under 75,000 people. And for me, it seemed like it was more an occasion for the fans, if I'm being completely honest. You know, Fran Kirby, she was honoured as she recently retired. You saw a lot of the already tried and tested players in that. It was Georgia Stanway who got the hat-trick, Beth Mead got a brace, Ella Toone, Alessia Russo. So whilst we did see some new players, you know, I say new players, maybe more fringe players that aren't in your starting 11, you know, every time England play. Jess Park, Chloe Kelly, Lottie Wibbermoy, they came on at half-time, but you've got someone like Aggie Beaver-Jones who came on in the 85th minute. We didn't see Grace Clinton, Freya Godfrey, who got her first call up in this camp. So I think it was maybe an opportunity for Serena to try and use some other players. She has 2 in defence because the likes of Leah Williamson is injured. Jess Carter's on a break because of the league in America that she's been playing in with Gotham. So she's had to make changes there. But regarding the midfield, you know, we know what Kira Walsh and Georgia Stanway and Ella Toone can do. So maybe we'll see that against Ghana because that's the next game. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I don't know if you saw the Ella Toone goal, but it's probably the easiest goal that she'll ever score. The goalkeeper for China, she had an absolute nightmare and basically played the ball straight to Tooney's feet and she slotted it into the back of the net. It wasn't a great performance from China at all, but, you know, great for so many fans to see the Lionesses play and get a good result.
It's very odd, isn't it? China is such a force at the Olympics. This sport is so strong, but they just cannot get it right in football. It's really weird, as men or women. Strange.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that you also have to take into account that the Chinese domestic league ended on the 28th of September and the national team hadn't played together since July. So not that excuses it because, you know, they should have done better. You know that you're coming up against England, who are the 4th best team in FIFA rankings. They're 16th, so it's not like they're a terrible team. I really did expect a little bit more from them, but maybe those factors of not having as much game time as England, maybe that played a factor.
Just before we come on to United, there's a very disturbing thing with Karen Carney. She's been brilliant on Strictly, absolutely wonderful. And they interviewed her on Saturday, and she was talking about how online criticism from fans destroyed her confidence.
As a footballer?
As a pundit.
Oh, as a pundit.
It's really bad, that, isn't it? I thought it was really a poor, you know, thing for that to have happened, and it's taken all this time for her to get back the confidence that she had. I thought
Yeah, exactly. And I guess, you know, the opportunity of doing something like Strictly Come Dancing is great for her to get her personality out there a little bit, for people to learn a little bit more about her. But even that aside, you know, people that are just trying to do their jobs, that, you know, we hear about it so often, unfortunately, that players, whilst they're on the pitch, and then you have the pundits afterwards that, you know, get so much abuse. And I think that, you know, I think we've had certain people at talkSPORT even speak about it, about how, you know, we need to have these online trolls, you know, have their identity be shown so that people know who they're actually talking to, and these people are held a bit more responsible.
Sad news about Tana Bonmati, one of the world's great players, the Spain-Barcelona player who's broken her leg.
Wow.
Yeah, she has. I mean, I'll be honest, it's coming across so she's fractured her left fibula. Now, I know that Lucy Bronze fractured a different bone in her leg, but, you know, she played during the Euros with a fracture, so I don't know what Aitana's going on about, to be honest. No, I'm only joking, but, you know, it's
just strap it up and get out there. That's the way.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Take a page out of Lucy Bronze's book. I mean, it is 6 to 8 weeks just to heal, let alone get back to playing football. You know, she apparently fell awkwardly during training with Spain on Sunday. Now, they, of course, are in the UEFA Women's Nations League final against Germany. They already played the first leg. She played 77 minutes of that. That finished goalless. So the fact that she won't be there for that second leg, and you have to think about, you know, Germany and Spain faced each other in the Women's Euros semi-final. I was actually at that game, and it was Aitana Bonmati who scored the goal, that, you know, an absolutely fantastic goal. We all know how vital she is for Spain, so it's going to be a massive miss, and a massive miss for Barcelona, because they don't have, you know, a really full squad. You look at a team like Arsenal or Chelsea, they've got, you know, 30 plus players. Barcelona don't have that, so to have someone like her missing, it is going to be difficult. I know that they do have a bit of a Christmas break, but even still, her getting back to full fitness, we'll have to see how long it'll take.
Excellent. We're out of time, Angelina. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Angelina Kelly there, mopping up all these stories from the world of women's football, and England's women in action tomorrow night down in Southampton at St Mary's against Ghana. Danny Miller's going to pop in and see us. The actor played a bit in his day. Apparently he's going to tell us about that. Liverpool fan, Stockport County fan. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Emmerdale Corrie mashup, his time on I'm a Celeb, and much more.
talkSPORT's Martin Keown thinks Chelsea's ill discipline cost them 3 points at home to Arsenal.
The back four at the end of the game, there was only one member of the regular back four still on the pitch. Calafiori had to go off because he'd had a booking. So all in all, I think Arsenal will be happy with that.
Enzo Maresca has no complaints about Caicedo's first half red card in the 1-1 draw, while Simon Jordan says Chelsea can win the Premier League again, just not this season.
It looks to me like that Chelsea are going to be the people that are going to perhaps push Arsenal. Liverpool are going to find themselves, they're going to recover, and all of this nonsense about Liverpool will find itself getting together. Man City are not the same team as they were.
Johan Wissa is closer to making his Newcastle debut following a knee injury. Eddie Howe says Wissa's playing a full training game and will play another this week.
Everything's positive, but he will be back involved when we think he's able to contribute to the group and has a minimal chance of re-injury.
Newcastle versus Spurs is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Meanwhile, former Spurs striker Meadows questioned the mentality of the current squad, who have just 5 points from 7 home games this season. And Meadows doesn't think Thomas Frank has any players worth watching.
With all the respect to all the players that we have, we don't have a player like Kane. We don't have a player like Robbie Keane. We don't have a player like Son, of course.
Serena Wiegmann hasn't had any talks about extending her England contract, but says she's very relaxed about it.
I'm still really enjoying the job. I think the team is still enjoying that I'm around. I think that's really, really important too.
Wiegmann's current deal expires at the end of the 2027 World Cup. Hampden Park, meanwhile, is being renamed in a sponsorship deal. Scotland's national stadium is now called Barclays Hampden. And Ascot Racecourse has announced record prize money of £19.4 million from next year, an increase of £1.65 million. There's more on talksport.com.
Don't know what that is. Where have you been for about the last 50 years? That is, of course, the theme tune to Emmerdale, which I do find slightly triggering as someone who used to write on TV burp. But we are joined by...
Never knew that.
Yeah,
wow.
That's right. I'm used to get shouted at by Emmerdale actors at awards do.
I bet
Where's our money?
Yeah, I know exactly who that was as well.
Where's our money for the clip? Nothing to do with me.
Oh, brilliant.
Danny, good to see. Danny Miller's joined us. Danny, of course, plays Aaron Dingle in Emmerdale. What year did you join, Danny?
I joined in 2009, I think it was, yes, about 17 years. 2008, 17 years this year, so yeah, 2008, wow. I know, yeah.
You had a little spell away, didn't you, and then sort of came back after a couple of years. Did you need that break?
I think, yeah. No, I mean, I had 2 breaks, actually. I had one because I had the whole... what felt like the whole country told me I was going to be the next James Bond, and I believed them. And I went off to explore other options and just realised actually I just enjoy being around all these people in this fast pace that we film Emmerdale at. And then I went back about 2 years later because I just loved it so much. And then I had another break to do to have my son, which was the original plan, and then I'm a Celebrity asked me would I like to take part in the show that year, which gave me another year off, so I had another 2 years off, which was amazing. Yeah. So yeah,
you won it, didn't you? What year did you win?
21,
wasn't it? 21. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was very, very lucky. I genuinely didn't think that was ever going to happen.
How did you find we were watching people on the show at the moment? How did you find the experience?
It's hard. It's hard work, and it's more so the stuff you don't see in the edit. Obviously they condense this down into an hour's worth of 24 hours that you've filmed, and it's boring. It's really boring. If you don't get out to do challenges and trials and all that kind of stuff, it is boring. Amazing show, and it's amazing when you're a part of those kind of groups of trials and challenges groups and doing it on your own. That's great, but it's you've got to be able to be okay with your own space as well.
Are you a fussy eater? Sorry,
yeah.
You're a fussy eater, because I am. I could not do bush tucker trial. Just
is that in the realm of fussy eating? Not eating.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes beyond fussy eating.
Some people will eat anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a fussy eater. I don't like fish, which I knew was going to come up because there's so many, and every single trial I seemed to win. Every time they delivered food that night seemed to be fish, so it just wasn't a win for me. I just always felt really, like disheartened when that food bag came in and it was just monkfish and carp that you get in Manchester Canal. I've just gone through 6 courses of various different animal parts, eaten raw.
Yeah,
I get this.
That was really interesting when you said there about the pace you work out on a soap, and we've spoken to a lot of soap actors over the years who have said, it is quite relentless, but probably you go into another production and you probably can't believe just how sort of relatively relaxed it is in terms of turning over the scenes you're doing.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm genuinely not saying it like I'm some bitter actor that didn't do well out of the side of the show that kind of made his profile. It's definitely not that. What I mean by that is that it just didn't suit me. I think my brain, like for example, we've just been doing Corriedale.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Crossover between Coronation Street and Emmerdale. It's on in the new year, very first week of the new year. I'm not sure on the date yet, but we spent 5 or 6 nights in the middle of nowhere, and we'd do 1 scene a night. And I remembered at the end of each night going home, going, I can't believe we've just done 2 pages of dialogue in 12 hours. But that's quite normal for a drama and quite normal for a film. And I just kind of went, my brain just doesn't work like that. I like to go, there's 10 scenes, it's 60 pages of dialogue the day, get it done, and then I can't remember what I've said throughout the day.
How have they made this happen? I mean, is the premise that somehow people from Coronation Street are on a visit to Emmerdale? How does it work?
You go to Corrie, don't you?
Well, no. I think what I'm allowed to say about it is nobody kind of crosses over on any known sets. It's got to. It had to feel like a separate side project. It had to feel like it's 2 worlds colliding. But I guess all I can say is it happens on a road. And we all kind of have we all kind of cross over in that way. But I think it would just feel a little bit too much like breaking the 4th wall down if suddenly we're in the Rovers asking for a pint.
They wasted an opportunity not to have done East Emmers last week because all those tractors were in London for the protests. So they could have come up, couldn't they? Could have come up from Emmerdale into London. You could have had a drip pint in the Queen Vic.
And rightly so as well. But I'll leave that to them.
So you played a bit in your youth, didn't you? Were you at Stockport for a while?
Yes, I was at Stockport County's Academy for a good few years until I found White Lightning and the park.
Right. Yes.
And spinning around on roundabouts.
That's definitely got to be the title of your autobiography, White Lightning in the Park.
I mean, I got bored of saying it was my knee.
It's quite common with young players, isn't it? You get mad about football till you get to either discover women or discover alcohol.
Yeah, and all 3 are terrible. But no, it's I enjoyed playing, but I just didn't enjoy it enough. I was always quite good in my ability and my kick.
What position were you?
I was always a central midfielder.
Right.
And then as I kind of got older and less interested and probably a bit fatter and a bit less fit, I saw myself as a number 9.
Is there an Emmerdale team? Do you have?
There used to be, but everyone's kind of, in the mid-30s, 40s now. They've got kids, they've got commitments of the weekend, so to get them together is a hard thing. But we are trying to get something together for next year.
You played in Soccer Aid?
No.
Unless issue would come and get me clean. You'd like to, wouldn't you?
Well, watch some of the players on there and just go, I would be fuming if I was sat on that bench. Never mind sat at home watching.
Maybe they don't know about it.
Yeah, but I'd love to play in Soccer Aid. I've never been asked. I'd tell you what they do ask me to do. They always ask me, which always feels like a kick in the teeth, which is...
good recovery.
Thank you. Which is... they always say, do you want to come and do the phones for us? And I always go, no, I don't want to sit up there and talk for 3 hours. No,
I want to play. I played. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll be listening.
You're not doing any panto this year? Not doing a bit of panto?
Oh no, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. It was there right in front of me. But no, it's we're not. We kind of contracted really, so to go off every year. A load of us. There'd be nobody left in the show with all the offers that are out there. But I'd love to do something like that again, maybe in the future. But it's Emmerdale. I've got 3 beautiful kids now and a lovely wife who just needs my support in that way. So you go where the money goes, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're incredibly honest about, because some people can be a bit lovey about, well, I did a soap and then I went off and then I decided. But you're very honest about it. You like the process, you like the people, you like the job. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, and it's it feels like sometimes you walk down at 6 o'clock in the morning and the sun's coming up and the village set that we have there in Yorkshire, and you kind of go, this is almost like my elevator to work. My path into work is just like, it's phenomenal, and I mean the money helps.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But it certainly makes for a really, really good day. And
have you watched I'm a Celeb this year, Dan?
I have. Yeah, I've been watching it. So I just had an interview on this morning, which was absolutely nerve-wracking because I suddenly realised I'm not there to do an interview. I'm there to sort of present a segment, which was terrifying.
Oh, okay.
But I enjoyed it, weirdly. But yeah, I've been watching it. Obviously, I've got Lisa Riley in there this year, who's an Emmerdalian, a proud Emmerdalian as well. So she's in there doing a fair game. Actually, she's doing really well, and everybody seems to really like her. But there's that thing of sort of going, I know how the show works now, so I can't watch it in the same way.
No.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of see a bit of a structure to it, and that's why people love it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
who's going to win? Do you think?
I can't see. At the moment, I'd love Lisa to win. I'd also love Tom to win. But I can't see past Ginge and H just because I think they are so good together, but they've got such a big following. And I think you start to learn who people are voting for through the trials. And there should be a segment in the next, 10 days, however long is left, that will sort of give you an idea of who people are voting for, because they usually say who's the funniest campmate, who's this, who's that, who's the laziest, all that stuff, and who the public vote for tends to be there or thereabouts. The final
people who are voted out always blame the editing.
They do, but I suppose to be completely honest, I guess there's a casting process to it. There's kind of like, if we just had 12 comedians in there, as funny as Last One Laughing was, like there's a sort of, everybody wants to be funny, whereas if you have someone funny, someone caring, so the mother role, the dad role, the brother, the young kids, I suppose that there is, but it's easy for me to say because I won. So,
did you think you were going to win?
No.
We've known people who've gone on it, and one or two of them were big, larger than life characters from the world of sport, and we were quite shocked they never really came across as they were,
Well, I think that's like what you go back to say there about the edit. The edit is very much, you're in their hands, and they always say to you in the contracts, don't say anything you don't want on TV. Because you can't then go in there and start saying, please can you cut that out, because it doesn't work like that.
It's a good job the edit wasn't a Manchester United fan from your point of view, because you would have been more an Evertonian. You would have been stuffed, wouldn't you?
Well, I would, yeah. Liverpool is my team since. So weirdly, it was the anniversary of Gerrard's first game, which was my first game.
Okay. What was your way into? Because you're obviously not a Scouser. So what was your way into Liverpool?
So my dad, God bless him, he's still here. Don't sound like he's got dementia, and he's a compere comedian, or he was a compere comedian. He worked at Manchester United for 30 years, doing all the hospitality lounges, corporate stuff. He was extremely good friends, still is, with Sir Alex. But on the side, hustle quietly without Fergie knowing. He was working at Main Road on the Saturday, so it was the days where like most of the lower leagues would be on the Sunday.
He would have got the full hair dry if Fergie had found out.
100%. Well, he did find out, and then he had a few choice words, and he left after. But it was more to do with that. It was, my dad was a Man City fan. I remember once he took us. He worked at Man City, worked at Man United, but he was a Man City fan, and he took us to a game, and I got to sit next to Sean Goater, who was injured at the time, and watching. And I just remember there was no fun in it because I couldn't appreciate at that age of 5 and 6 who he was. But the picture says I was sat next to him, so I believe him. But then my uncle Seamus, who was kind of had a little box at Anfield, said, I want to take you to watch a proper team. Michael Owen was playing, Gerrard came on, and he said he'll be the next Liverpool and England captain. I mean, he said that about everyone, including Bruno Cheru. But he certainly said, this is going to be the next big thing. But he didn't take me in his box. He said, I want you to experience the Cop. So he bought us Cop tickets, went in, and I fell in love with it.
Wow. Yeah. And how are you feeling about life? Better performance yesterday, a few kind of good signs yesterday. Yeah.
Well, I mean, watching it yesterday, knowing I was coming in here with you guys, I kind of thought, please, just even a draw will do at this point. I can't believe we've still not drawn a game this season. Won 7, lost 6, and I think, it's not good. It's not acceptable. It's not good enough. But I don't think the answer is getting rid of Slot just yet.
Still well in that whole thing. It's
there's like,
I still think you'll get top 4.
I think
we're a third of the way through the season. There's 2/3 of the season.
Got too many good players that will come right.
I think once it starts ticking, they'll start kind of playing together, and you can see that from the possession stats.
Top 4 will be tight, though, won't it?
It would be.
Arsenal are going to be in it. City are going to be in it.
They've got a lot of time left. You said how close it all is.
Are you either of you Arsenal fans?
No, I'm Spurs, Chelsea.
Oh, brilliant. So I still think they've got a bottle job in them, personally.
Okay. Good job you checked first. The producer and our assistant producer, both gooners, not going down well.
Because you suddenly think, bottle job isn't necessarily losing 4 or 5 on the bounce, is it? It's drawing 2 or 3 games when City and Liverpool and the other teams are winning 3 or 4 on the bounce. You suddenly make up your points that way. And I think statistically it's gone. the Premier League, but I'll take top 4 and see what happens with you.
And so, finally, you're sort of contracted to Emmerdale for the foreseeable, yeah?
Till next year, but anything can happen.
Yeah, of course.
Just suddenly realise I
in that script where suddenly there's another fire or something, or an aeroplane crash or whatever.
Yeah, that could all happen.
Yeah.
I just suddenly realised I probably shouldn't have said that, so I don't really know what to do from here.
And the mashup, the Corrie show, which is, when's that going out?
I think it's I believe it's the first Monday of January, which I think is the 5th, but I'm on holiday, so I couldn't get less.
And that'll be an hour-long sort of special.
Yeah, it's kind of like the last hour of soap. It's the power hour. It's the beginning of the power hour. All the slots are changing. So from 8 till 8:30 is Emmerdale, and 8:30 till 9 is Coronation Street. So this is
what they're doing from now on.
Yes,
Wow.
yeah. So I think so they can push the watershed a little bit more and add a bit more grit into it, and a few more murders.
Quentin Tarantino's directing.
Yeah, and we know he likes a murder.
That will be interesting.
Yeah, 3
Danny,
cast members left.
Lovely to meet you. Thanks ever so much for coming in. Wish you well, and enjoy the rest of the season.
Thank you. I'll try.
There's Danny Miller there from Emmerdale. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to hear from Thomas Frank from his press conference earlier on very shortly. We'll have a bet builder for you later on. We're talking F1, Nun football, and Graham Scott, the former Premier League referee, is going to join us. And he's got a bone to pick with, well, the PGMOL, but he'll tell us why a little bit later. Well, John, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent over in New York. They're going to be with you at 4 o'clock. We'll see what they're up to this week. They're going to be heading to Washington for the World Cup draw, so Andy and Benty up later. Before that, we're going to hear from Thomas Frank. He spoke to the press earlier on today ahead of the Newcastle game tomorrow evening, which is live on talkSPORT. And our own Ian Abrahams, the Moose, put a question to him around whether fans are entitled to boo.
Just like I'm allowed my opinion wherever I want. So I think it's fair. I'm just saying what I think. I'm like, can't say it enough. We have some fantastic fans. We're nothing without the fans. We need them, every aspect. And they are very much allowed to be disappointed, no problem. I'm just saying when we play a match at home, it is not as helpful as it is when they can see they're driving the team forward, for example. And of course, it's up to us to do everything we can to perform. So it's just going hand in hand. But the beautiful thing about football and life is never straightforward.
It's not happening in a vacuum. I mean, they're not running out onto the pitch to a chorus of boos. It was a reaction to a bit of a perfect storm of circumstances. So I think, yeah, he is entitled to his opinion, but he has to think about the context. He's not responsible for all of it, but he's certainly responsible for some of it.
The Spurs are putting two poor performances against Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then...
and against Fulham the other day, effectively.
Well, and then they start this game and you think, well, the worst thing could happen is what happened.
Yeah.
For atmosphere.
And the nature of the way the second one happened, and not everybody... We're right, every player can make a mistake, but there were several mistakes in that with the players not...
But to go 2-0 down after 6 minutes of a game, they desperately needed to win, that's not helpful.
Having seen 3 wins all year...
Yeah,
I mean, Anyway, it's not an ideal situation, and we continue to talk about them now because they do go to Newcastle tomorrow night, and it is time for our bet builder.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Yeah, we've got the Paddy Power bet builder now, and it is tomorrow night's game at St James's Park, Newcastle against Spurs. Fern Buckley joins us once again. Hi, Fern.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Good. Yeah. These games are quite difficult to predict because there's such a short turnaround.
Yeah,
I know.
There's going to be a lot of rotation for both sides, and the Premier League is a bit mad this season. You don't know what is going to happen in any game. But
do you know what? We were so close last week, though. Charlie Baker did us out of it. I think he said both teams to score for our last game. So we blame him. It's because you weren't here, Andy.
I don't know how safe we've played it. I'm going to kick us off. Bruno Guimaraes to have 1+ shots on target. He tends to pop up on the edge of the box, and if you pop up on the edge of the box against Tottenham currently, you can normally get a shot on target.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is a fair assumption. He's had at least a shot in 5 of 6 home league outings, with goals coming in 3 of those. So, he does get himself into those positions. He's a super sub as well, so Paddy Power will protect your bet to whoever comes off. That's in at evens.
He scored in the Cup against Tottenham recently. You've gone for Voltemade, haven't you, Andy?
Yeah, I think he'll score. So
yeah. Made some big moves since joining the club, hasn't he? Scored against Tottenham in the EFL Cup 4th round game back in October. He scored 5 times in the league overall, and he's got on the score sheet this weekend, just gone against Everton. So his form keeps getting better and better. For him to score any time is in at 5-4, and he's another super sub.
The producer has gone for he's a gooner, but
it's funny though. On the face of it, you think they're definitely going to win Newcastle, but the way the league is, you just can't tell.
He has gone for the Newcastle win, which I imagine is odds on currently.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I feel awful that we've had to do that for you. Blame Sean. But yeah, Newcastle win. Clear favours as well on Paddy Power, I've got to admit. They won 5 of their last 6 Premier League home games against Spurs. Only 1 defeat. 3 of those victories has happened consecutively as well. So becoming a bit of a problem team. Not only that, but they're 6 games unbeaten at St James's Park. So it's going to be difficult to beat that. So it's 7-10.
The people most popular, one of the most popular pits among the Paddy punters currently is both teams to score.
Here's a bit of hope for you. Yeah, both teams scoring. It's a bet that's come in for Newcastle in 5 of their 6 games across all competitions. And although we are looking at that Newcastle win, Spurs have actually been quite good on the road, beating in 4 top-flight trips outside of London. So could see a few goals, which would make you happy, I'm sure. Both teams is in at 13-20.
Depends which net they go in. And finally, dirty Newcastle we should be calling yours. You've gone for.
I know.
Yeah.
I've gone for Newcastle to commit over 9 fouls. And when I saw this stat during my research, I was blown away. They've committed 75 fouls in 6 home games in the league this season. So that's an average of 12.5 per game. So I think over 9 wouldn't be too much to ask, and that's in at 1-4.
A bit of research for
Yeah.
Well done.
So if this all comes off, what are we looking at?
Comes in just over 10-1. So from a £10 bet, you can get a return of £110. And if we get it right, like we hope we do, all the winnings go to the Attitude Foundation.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fam.
Cheers, guys.
We bring you that game tomorrow night, but we bring you every game this week exclusively live. We're delighted to say. Just download the talkSPORT app. It's the easiest way to be across all the matches. You can flip between the games simultaneously, so it's all there for you this week if you haven't downloaded the app already. But for now, that was Paddy's Bet Builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Nissan Van Range. Supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 3 o'clock, I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. In the last hour, Thomas Frank has elaborated on his comments after Spurs' 2-1 defeat to Fulham on Saturday.
We are nothing without the fans. There's nothing we want more than making them happy in every way. And my point was that during matches, that's where we need each other.
He's responded to criticism after calling out fans for booing at the weekend. Simon Jordan says they have every right to be unhappy, though.
The responsibility is on footballers to give them something to support.
Right.
it's not just a one-way transaction. It's not just this crappy idea of having a 12th man.
Spurs go away to Newcastle tomorrow night in talkSPORT's exclusive commentary. Now, Chelsea won't get a better chance to beat Arsenal, especially while both Gabriel and Saliba are at the club. So says Martin Keown, who was impressed with the Gunners' deputies yesterday.
Nketiah particularly really played his way into the game. Credit to Chelsea. You know, they had... I thought they were overly motivated or over-aroused, is a comment that Simon usually uses.
Remember, commentary of all 10 Premier League matches this midweek will be available across the talkSPORT network and app. Now, FIFA could give VAR powers over second yellow cards and corners at the World Cup. It's part of a trial which could also be implemented in the Premier League next season. Sheffield Wednesday have been handed another 6-point deduction. It relates to a further financial breach under the former owner Defon Chansiri. And the Mercedes F1 driver Kimi Antonelli has been subjected to death threats after Red Bull suggested he deliberately let Lando Norris past him in yesterday's Qatar Grand Prix. More than 1,100 comments on the 18-year-old's social media were flagged. Red Bull have since apologised. Get more on talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister's insisted the Chancellor did not lie to the public, and an investigation into the Post Office Horizon scandal is considering corporate manslaughter charges. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Get 10% off 2 or more premium tyres in our Black Friday event. Don't miss out and book today at quickfit.com and drive away happy every time. Conditions apply.
A windy afternoon with spells of rain. Local flooding's possible in the west where there are weather warnings in place. Cold in the northwest, milder elsewhere.
Good afternoon, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now on Friday we're going to bring you the World Cup draw, of course. And ahead of that, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent are going to be bringing you Drive from the States this week. They're going to kick off in New York and then they're going to head to Washington for the World Cup draw.
You've done a few. I've done the one in Russia. It's amazing. It's a real who's who of football.
Yeah, I did the last one in New York before the World Cup in '94. So it's a good place to be pre-Christmas.
Beautiful place to be at Christmas.
And they join us now, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, guys. How are you? Yes, we're live from a very cold New York. You'll probably see behind me if you watch it on YouTube. We're in Times Square. It's about 2 or 3 degrees. It's quite cold, and you always find out about yourselves when you come away. There's quite a few of us here, and I'll be honest with you. Me and Bentley had a big row on the plane because we had a big argument. Is there a big difference between business class and first class? And when we did the whole journey in first class, I thought there wasn't. Bentley thought there wasn't. But
I thought you got on Instagram. You got knocked back at British Airways.
Don't believe everything you see. That was purely just a bit of acting. So, but no, we are here ahead of what should be a really, really great week because we're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in New York. So we're doing our show normal UK time. So we'll be on air 4 o'clock. But we're doing it over here 11 till 2, and we've got some big names joining us as well today.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
We couldn't get Tom Cruise, sadly. No, but we do have some ex-footballers. You've forgotten already, haven't you?
Okay. Managerial, of course, former under-21 teammate of mine. Bradley Wright Phillips, one of the highest scorers in MLS history as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys.
Yes, and then we have got, hopefully, I don't want to say who they are because these things might just fall out towards them, but we've got a few big names joining us throughout the week, including there is a senator that listens to our show. I'm not winding you up. Who's invited us for a behind-the-scenes tour of the White House. Wow. So what I'm hoping to do is get into the Oval Office and just leave a tub of Goldstein's Golden Paste on the desk.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I've got to bring this. You've got, if you're watching on YouTube, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah. He's wandering around in the background looking for people who have his photo. Have you had a chat with Spider-Man yet or not?
Well, do you know what? I'm not going to lie, I looked at him and I thought about Peter Parker, but looking at kind of the shape that he's in, I said to Andy earlier, if I stole something, I don't think he's catching me. So I'm not quite sure he's the best advert for Peter Parker.
He looks more like Paul Parker at the moment.
Yeah. I haven't been to New York for a long time, but interesting, when I went there was an amazing burger place. I'll give you a bit of a tip here.
Oh, what about this?
It's inside a posh hotel. It used to be the Parker Meridian. It's now the Thompson Central Park. It's called Burger Joint. You walk in this posh hotel.
Yeah.
And right at the back of it, sort of behind some, it's this amazing burger place. So I recommend that for you there.
Here we are, a little something, a bit of, on X's. I think they're trying to hammer the X's. They're going a bit more upmarket than cheap burgers.
I tell you what's quite funny. So we're in New York, of course, and there's so many places that if you want to go and get some food or grab a coffee, it's we've never been there. Bentley, where'd you get your first coffee in New York? Where'd you get your coffee from this morning, Bentley? Pret
that is pathetic.
Oh, come on, Benty. Our old mate Dave Gorman went across America and didn't go to any chains. Drove right across America, coast to coast, and didn't go to any chains. You've been there 5 minutes. You've gone to a place you could have gone round the corner here.
5 minutes.
The delis are good though. The Stars and the Stage Deli, they're fun.
Do you know what? They are looking after us here at talkSPORT. I'll be honest with you. They put us in a nice hotel. I had to phone down to reception this morning. I went nuts because from my jacuzzi I can't see the bowling lane, and I went absolutely nuts and had to move a mirror about. So,
are you going to Cat's Deli to Sorry, I was going to wonder if you're going to reenact the when Harry met Sally scene, and which one of you is going to be Harry and which one's going to be Sally?
You've got to queue for ages to get in there. There are other delis just as.
No, but it's iconic. They can sit in the seat, the boys.
Yeah, we talked about that about 10 minutes ago. So from where we are, it's about 25 minutes in the cab. We haven't really got time this afternoon, but we talked about that, and I think we're going to go there for breakfast tomorrow morning.
Nice.
And so we're fighting it over who's going to play the role of Sally, and we're both going to play the role of Sally.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Who's going to pay the bill? Because it's really expensive.
Yeah. I bet it's relatively expensive.
$45 for a sandwich.
Boys, is the singing cowboy still working Times Square? He would stand there basically in a pair of underpants and play the guitar. Is he sort of in the vicinity? Yeah, I think you'd spot him.
If anyone is standing out here in a pair of underpants, they're probably dead because it is so cold out here at the moment. Genuinely, Benty looks like he's going to go to the South Pole in a minute. He's properly dressed for it. I've got about 5 layers on and I'm freezing.
Benty will like Barney's.
It is bizarre. We are like aliens in New York because we look about as if, I'm guessing, as if American tourists, when they come to London and they point to St Paul's Cathedral and go, look at that, and we walk past them going, we see that every day. We're a bit like that here. We're walking about just pointing at things. It is a little bit crazy. If you've never been lucky enough to come to New York, it is one of those places that every time you walk past a certain building, I've seen that in the movie, and so we're very lucky about it. And on Wednesday night, our show is coming live from a sports bar, and I'm waiting for either Max or Joe to shout the name of that sports bar at me. Legends Sports
forgetting
Bar.
that. I understand you keep forgetting that.
But we bumped into quite a lot of talkSPORT fans and quite a lot of English guys and women that are out here working or whatever, and so they're coming down to Legends on Wednesday. We'll be there. If you are listening to this and you are over in America, we'll be at Legends Bar doing our show live, obviously 11 a.m. American time. So if you're about in America and you're in New York, you want to come see me and Bentley and see the show live, come down to Legends Bar at about 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning.
Excellent. Can either of you ice skate?
Oh, no, I can't ice skate. I mean, I tried that not that long ago. I think I was at Winter Wonderland a couple of weekends ago, and I tried to stand up. I needed the penguin. Could not get up.
It's the Rockefeller.
Well, you got.
No, I can't.
Sorry, Andy, you've got some great ones. You've got the big warm and ice rink in Central Park, which will be lovely. If you have some lovely photographs to take home, and obviously the Rockefeller Centre where the Christmas trees. You can go and have a little skate round there, boys. That'd look good on the socials.
Yeah, Paul, I don't know what it's like when you go away with talkSPORT, but we're here to work. There's a lot of places you're naming where we can go and have fun. We ain't got time. Listen, if someone's prepared to give us 30 grand a week, right, we're going to work hard. No, we haven't been there yet. I mean, we arrived last night, and so we're planning out a day. So we come off here at 2 o'clock New York time. So that's where we're going to go and do a load of stuff for socials. So
FA&O
not signed up
Schwartz
to the
as well,
talkSPORT socials,
famous toy shop.
The toy shop, yeah.
Go do it. What one's that, Andy?
FA&O Schwartz, a bit like Hamleys, their version of Hamleys. It's a pretty incredible toy shop.
We're sorting it all out
we
for
will
you.
make a note of that.
I hope the producer's writing this all down. Fantastic. Brilliant, guys. Well,
they can't take their hands out of the pocket. It's so cold.
We're going to chat to you, I think, every day. So enjoy the show. So you're going to be up at normal time at 4 o'clock and lots of top guests joining you. Where are you coming from today?
We are coming from today. I'm waiting for them to shout out. Where are we coming from today, lads? We're coming from where we filming today. What studio is it? New York Post. We're there today and tomorrow. So if you're a fan of the show, sadly you can't come down and see us. But apparently, this is genuine. So the people that designed the building internally designed our building back in London, and the people that designed the canteen on the 14th floor have designed their canteen. And so management Max went, we must check it out. And I went, it's going to look the same, isn't it? Like, we come all the way to New York to see a canteen that looks like ours. So we won't be doing that. But we're there today and tomorrow, and then Legends Bar on Wednesday from 11.
Brilliant. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Have a good show. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, boys. Guys.
Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent live from Times Square. They're going to be live from New York for you for 3 days this week, and then heading off to Washington. And, of course, we'll be right across the World Cup draw, find out who England and Scotland and potentially some of the other known nations, playoffs permitting, have got in the World Cup.
Look at Benty there. He's got Corney's wires caught up.
That's right. That's a lovely jacket he's got there, though. We've got a nice bin lorry picture if you're still watching there. We're still getting the pictures from New York. Anyway, special shows coming up. We always have a special show on Christmas Eve. We invite some of the talkSPORT listeners into the studio. I mean, it's that time of year again. You could join us, believe it or not, on Wednesday the 24th of December. We have a little Christmas Eve party. We have a chat with all the listeners who join us. We play a lot of the old karaoke classic clips from over the years. You know, I do struggle with those Greek names.
Of course.
How's Bob's health, etc. As always, you can just recite them back.
Yeah, of course.
But, we have a little bit of a Christmas Eve party.
It's a tradition.
It's been the tradition. So if you would like to join me and Andy in the studio on Christmas Eve for our festive bonanza, then simply head over to talksport.com/TSH and J. That's TSHANDJ. There's a little form on there for you to fill out. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, interesting stuff, a few war stories that will be very good on air if you join us on Christmas Eve. So, just fill us in. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. You can also find the link on X, formerly known as Twitter, at TSH and J, again, TSHANDJ.
It might be going back to Twitter. Did you see that?
Oh, is that really right?
Elon asked people to vote. Do you want it to return to Twitter?
I think most will vote yes, won't they? You would imagine.
So, yeah.
We'll see. Further terms and conditions are available on the website too. Would be lovely to see you on Christmas Eve if you can make it into central London on that day. We understand transport can be an issue. So trains, planes and automobiles permitting, we look forward to seeing you on Christmas Eve. Just once again, talksport.com at TSH and J, or via Twitter at TSH and J. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. And coming up next, we're going to talk about nuns football.
Yeah.
We tried to do it last week, but we've not let it go. There is a nuns football team that goes and plays games all around Italy. And one of the nuns in question became quite the celebrity in the last week or so. We'll tell you how, and a very interesting footballing backstory. We'll talk a bit of F1 as well. Tom Clayton's going to pop back. He was right across what was another very exciting race yesterday, and we go down to the wire in the world of Formula One. So they couldn't have made it any better, could they? The people behind the sport. It's worked out very well. And Graham Scott, former Premier League referee, is going to join us, and he's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet about Anthony Taylor getting the Chelsea-Arsenal game. Feel it was an unnecessary appointment that put Taylor under pressure from the first minute. So we'll talk about that, some other law changes that have been proposed around, maybe they'll call it the Donnarumma law after what happened at the weekend, or the Daniel Farke law. Anyway, that's all to come. We're here with our very good friends at Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
Step up to the Oki and win on talkSPORT.
Now we are closing in on the talkSPORT Dance Presenter Trophy 2025 now in its third year. We're looking forward to bringing that to you on this show, where 8 of talkSPORT's biggest names go head-to-head ahead of the PDC World Dance Championship kickoff. And this year, you and a mate could be right there with us. You'll be the only members of the public allowed in on Wednesday, the 10th of December in London. 2 seats, 2 insider passes. A true money-can't-buy experience for the ultimate talkSPORT fan. The very next day, you'll also both be heading to the opening day of the PDC World Dance Championship. Plus, we'll sort out 2 nights hotel stay and a massive £2,500 in cash. And we'll get you on. I promise you, we'll get you on the show with me and Andy and have a chat if you win. So, fantastic prize.
There's a bulk.
Yeah,
right there. We have absolutely no idea.
We'll get them on. We'll get them on.
Okay.
Okay, so.
For your chance to win, text WIN, WIN, to 83338. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 423 9761. I'll read that again, 0343 423 9761. Lines closed 4 p.m. next Thursday. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland. It's your chance to win. Text WIN to 8338 now. No, 8338 now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com.
Yeah, best of luck. We look forward to seeing you on the day. Now, you may have seen on TikTok and elsewhere a nun directing traffic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
She's gone viral. It was just outside the Colosseum. There were some issues with the traffic, and she could see it was all a bit of a mess. And you know, it's because they close off a lot of the roads around
with
the
her on the
Colosseum.
A4 yesterday going to Chelsea.
Yeah. So anyway, she started directing the traffic. Not something you see every day, is it? Really, a nun directing
No,
traffic?
not really. No.
But who knew that she had quite the sporting backstory as well? She's a former international footballer and still involved in football with the Nuns football team. James Amam was right across it for the Times, and he joins us now. Hi, James.
Hello there.
Yeah, this was great, this story. So everybody saw the viral clip, but little did we know there was this whole kind of backstory of her sporting life. She's actually Romanian, isn't she?
She is, and I was just as surprised as you were to discover this story. But yes, it turns out that the nun who jumped out to direct traffic in the heart of Rome was Romanian and had a footballing history behind her at quite a high level as well, actually.
Yeah, that's right. Played for her country, and basically became a nun and still kept playing. I didn't realise there was a nuns football team that sort of played charity games around the country, James.
So they've been going for about 4 years, apparently. They were set up 4 years ago. They've got about 20 players between their 30s and 50s, quite a big age range. And yes, our nun, she is their biggest goal scorer. They nickname her the Bomber. And yeah, apparently she's pretty nifty. So her coach, I spoke with her coach, and he described her as this dogged half striker. She drops back, picks up the ball, dribbles hard at the opposition, and he said she's very technical as well. She kicks well with both of her feet, and I think she's just generally feared. I mean, you know, this team of nuns, they beat a men's team. They were council workers in Puglia in the south, and they beat them on penalties.
Wow.
after a 3-3 draw. So they don't sound too bad, actually.
Yeah, she it is quite the story. She played for her country, played for Romania, and but apparently is quite greedy as well. The coach did tell you that she said if she's got a flaw as a player, she never passes the ball.
Exactly, which doesn't sound like very nun-like behaviour.
No.
Really. But I sort of have the sense that when she has a ball in front of her, she transforms. She goes back to her former self, because, as you said, she was a footballer before she saw the light, as it were, and decided that her calling was to serve God, and had a period away from football before she got another bite at the cherry when they founded this team for nuns.
As a player, she was a big fan of Baggio, apparently, and would put her hair in a ponytail, Baggio-like, when she was playing in Romania.
Yeah, so Baggio, she reminded me, was known as the divine ponytail.
Yes. Yeah.
And as a homage to Baggio, she also had a ponytail. She said she had it all the way up until she decided to move to Rome and follow her religious vocation there, and that's when she had to cut it off. So I think she, she sort of misses it, but she's had a chance to take her boots off the peg, as it were.
Yeah, and she founded a charity, the Three Archangels Football Academy in Livorno for children who were considered not quite talented enough to earn playing time with their club teams, which is a lovely touch. She obviously does, understandably, lots and lots of charitable work. She works at a paediatric hospital. So she sounds like an all-round good egg, I'd say, James.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought the academy was really nice, actually. It really backs up what she says about sport being really a way in which you can do good in the Christian sense. And she clearly wanted to help young players who'd been basically cast out from their teams and show them that they could still, feel confident about themselves and progress. And she seems to have done great work with the Three Archangels.
Very nice.
She also, a few people, traditionalists, have pushed back on the idea of nuns wearing football boots and shorts, and it's not gone down well in some circles. But she's addressed that, hasn't she, James?
Yeah, she to make that point, she told me that she and the rest of the team, there are photos of this as well, really nice photos, dropping by the Vatican, passing by and posing for photos with the late Pope Francis. And he was full of praise for the nuns, saying, doing good through sport is exactly what you should be doing. And, in response to that, our nun basically said, I completely agree with Pope Francis there. Being a nun is not about wearing a habit and, being, meek and mild, but it's about getting out there, getting your shorts on, getting your boots on and having a kick around. She says, why can't nuns do that?
Yeah. Fair enough. He was a big football fan, of course, wasn't he? The late Pope. He was a San Lorenzo fan, he was.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, big Argentinian football fan, of course. Well, James, thanks for bringing us the story. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
There we are, James Amen there from The Times on the story of the sister Amelia Jataru, the footballing and sometimes traffic sorting out nun. We're going to have a chat with Graham Scott, the former Premier League referee, a little bit later on. Talk some F1 before we hand over to Goldstein and Bent live from New York this afternoon. They're there all week, and fellas will be joining us at 4 o'clock to bring us drive from New York at 4.
talkSPORT's Martin Keown thinks Chelsea's ill discipline cost them 3 points at home to Arsenal.
The back four at the end of the game, there was only one member of the regular back four still on the pitch. Calafiori had to go off because he'd had a booking. So all in all, I think Arsenal will be happy with that.
Enzo Maresca has no complaints about Caicedo's first half red card in the 1-1 draw, while Simon Jordan says Chelsea can win the Premier League again, just not this season.
It looks to me like that Chelsea are going to be the people that are going to perhaps push Arsenal. Liverpool are going to find themselves, they're going to recover, and all of this nonsense about Liverpool will find itself getting together. Man City are not the same team as they were.
Johan Wissa is closer to making his Newcastle debut following a knee injury. Eddie Howe says Wissa's playing a full training game and will play another this week.
Everything's positive, but he will be back involved when we think he's able to contribute to the group and has a minimal chance of re-injury.
Newcastle versus Spurs is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Meanwhile, former Spurs striker Meadows questioned the mentality of the current squad, who have just 5 points from 7 home games this season. And Meadows doesn't think Thomas Frank has any players worth watching.
With all the respect to all the players that we have, we don't have a player like Kane. We don't have a player like Robbie Keane. We don't have a player like Son, of course.
Serena Wiegmann hasn't had any talks about extending her England contract, but says she's very relaxed about it.
I'm still really enjoying the job. I think the team is still enjoying that I'm around. I think that's really, really important too.
Wiegmann's current deal expires at the end of the 2027 World Cup. Hampden Park, meanwhile, is being renamed in a sponsorship deal. Scotland's national stadium is now called Barclays Hampden. And Ascot Racecourse has announced record prize money of £19.4 million from next year, an increase of £1.65 million. There's more on talksport.com.
Autumn International's review on talkSPORT with Funding Circle. Tackle your business goals head on with fast, fair and hassle-free finance solutions. Find out more at fundingcircle.com.
Just before we talk a bit of F1 and indeed that lead story that Emma mentioned around Daniel Farke with Tom Clayton, we're going to recap last weekend's Autumn International action with Funding Circle. The former Wales fly half, the legendary Dan Biggar, joined Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor on breakfast this morning. He reflected on their record home defeat. First time they hadn't scored a try in a test in Cardiff for 58 years. 73-0 defeat to South Africa at the weekend.
It was a sobering day for Welsh rugby, Jeff, on Saturday afternoon. 73-0 at home, their second biggest defeat in history, the biggest defeat in Cardiff, not scoring a point. Very difficult to find a huge amount of positives from Saturday alone. And if you look at the game alone, it was just unfortunate timing in terms of it was outside the test window. The game was actually organised back in 2018. So Wales were, winning Grand Slams, championships, getting to World Cup semi-finals. So I suppose when you think of it from a planning point of view, and then COVID struck, so the game had to be postponed and put back, and this was the first chance that they had to play it. So from a timing point of view, it was just awful timing in terms of players had to go back to England to play, so they couldn't play in the international, outside the international window.
Yeah, it was a tough watch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was our recap of last weekend's Autumn International action with Funding Circle.
Autumn International's review on talkSPORT with Funding Circle. Supporting the supporters with fast, fair and hassle-free business finance solutions. Find out more at fundingcircle.com.
Well, the people behind Formula One have got the finale to the season they wanted. It's going down to the wire for the Drivers' Championship. We're going to chat about that now and exactly what went on yesterday, because it is a little bit complicated if people don't particularly follow F1 as to what the issues were. Tom Clayton is with us. Hi, Tom.
Good afternoon.
So, yes, it all really seemed to be around this decision to, from McLaren's point of view, not to go in when the safety car was out after 7 laps. They didn't, those drivers. Everybody else effectively did who mattered.
Yeah.
And it cost them the race.
It very much did. I mean, to give you a bit of background, the reason why there were rules in place yesterday around how long a tyre stint could last for. It was 25 laps because Qatar has a historical anomaly about it, that it always causes punctures on old tyres.
Yeah.
Because it's a MotoGP circuit, they use different tyres which are better suited to that surface. So Pirelli, who supply all the tyres, they said, everyone, maximum stint you can do is 25 laps. So when the safety car came out on lap number 7, lap number 8, everyone dived into the pits because they thought, perfect, we can only stop one more time in the race and we're done. That's all we need to do. Meanwhile, McLaren thought we would prefer to have what you call track position, so they would rather be at the front and have better flexibility. So they decided not to stop both drivers, also in the knowledge that if they did stop both drivers at the same time, they would do what you call a double stack, so both drivers coming into the pit stop at the same time. One of them gets held back and has to come back through the field.
Right.
So out of fairness, because they didn't want to have to do that, they left both cars out. And it turned out to be one of the worst mistakes that they could have made, because they didn't build up enough of a gap to the chasing pack. And then by the time that they had pit stops and by the time that they were ready to try and put the chase on and come back, there was too much to do. Oscar Piastri, who was leading the race, and it was his race to lose, was given 20 seconds to catch up to Max Verstappen in 15 laps, which on the best of days is not particularly achievable. So it's a generational fumble, as the kids say these days.
Did the experts think it was a mistake at the time? And it's always very easy to be wise after the event, but were people saying, "Oh, they're making a mistake here"?
Well, this is the thing. So at the time, I remember listening to the commentary and thinking, why have they done this? They've gone against the grain. And sometimes these counter strategies can work. So there were some people saying, well, let's just give it some time to play out. Let's just feel this one out and see how it goes. But by the time we got to around lap 40, just before the two McLarens were about to pit stop, everyone was saying, well, they're not going to have enough time to catch up, to get back into position where they want to be 1 and 2 in this Grand Prix. And that's the problem. They just didn't give themselves enough time. And by the end of the race, everyone kind of realised they really messed up.
So just remind us of the scenario going into the final race of the season then, and how it could shake down and what Lando Norris needs to land the Drivers' Championship.
So it's very simple. Lando Norris needs to finish in the top 3 and he guarantees himself the World Championship. He is 12 points ahead of Max Verstappen, who is now second in the championship because of the disqualification in Las Vegas as well. So that means that if Norris is up there, he's won it. That's it. Simple as. If Verstappen wins it and Norris finishes 4th, effectively, we discussed this in the meeting earlier, it's what we call racing goal difference. So Max Verstappen will win it on countback because he'll have won 8 Grand Prix this season to Norris's 4. Meanwhile, Piastri has to, I think, win the race, Verstappen to not finish particularly highly, and then he also needs Norris to finish 5th. So he's a real outsider coming into this weekend. But when these 3 have been the clear fastest drivers on the grid this season, you'd be surprised if anyone gets in amongst them.
McLaren have already won their sort of team title, the manufacturer's title. I mean, how important is it to them to win the drivers as well? I mean, for being...
Isn't that what the fans...
Yeah,
count?
I mean, that's what...
Yeah.
That's the whole...
I mean, this is the thing. We don't watch F1 to say, oh, wow, McLaren have done a great season. I hope they win the Constructors' Championship. No, we watch it because we have favourite drivers who we want to win. And it will be very important to the team that they've won the Constructors' Championship because, first of all, they get an awful lot of money for it.
Yeah.
But then second of all, they get prestige up the grid and they get better resources and things like that through the course of next season, which is completely different, by the way, because we have a new set of regulations and that's going to take hours to explain at some point in the near future. But then it is so important with the Drivers' Championships because they're the people who really connect with the fans. They're the people who are the face of the sport. You know, people don't watch Formula One for the Hamilton v Verstappen rivalry because it was Mercedes v Red Bull. No, it was because it was Hamilton versus Verstappen. And it is so important. And I think McLaren will be recognising it is important we win at least with one driver, because the last time they had a Drivers' World Championship was 2008 with Lewis Hamilton.
It has made it very exciting.
They almost need to pick one of the two drivers.
They've been needing to do that since earlier on the season, and they've not. It's been a mess.
Now, you are a Leeds fan, and it's not been the easiest of seasons. We just heard Emma say in the bulletin that our own Alex Crook understands that Daniel Farke's really under pressure unless he can pick up results in the next couple of games. Chelsea and Liverpool are not the easiest games to pick up results in. You were a little bit unlucky the other day. It's just that little bit of lack of quality up front that cost you against...
I don't know, they could have been 5-0 down at half time.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, but they did get back into the game. They showed something. They showed a bit of fight, didn't they?
And you have to say, it's the first time in a second half that Leeds have shown a bit of fight in something this season. They've traditionally been a first half season, then faded away into the second half. And this is what a lot of the criticism about Daniel Farke has been. It's his lack of adaptability. Take, for example, the Aston Villa game. Unai Emery made changes at half-time. He then made changes quite early into the second half and really changed the flow of the game. Meanwhile, Daniel Farke was waiting until the 70th minute to make the most predictable changes and keep on players that he probably should have taken off.
They have got better players than this. I mean, the quality of what Villa and what Emery can call upon is greater than what Farke, and with respect, isn't it? And
I understand.
We're seeing that with a lot of teams. We're seeing that with Burnley to an extent. You know, it's difficult, isn't it?
But then the other thing is as well, they spent all of the summer building a team to be physical, to be strong, to be powerful, to overpower teams. And that's what they did at the very start of the season. And then they regressed into this more technical, standoffish, well, let's have the ball and make sure they don't get it. Because if they don't have the ball, they don't score. Yeah, it doesn't work when they can score a counter-attack in 3 seconds and all of a sudden we're 2-1 down, having gone 1-0 up at Nottingham Forest.
Do you want him to go finally, Tom? How do you feel about it?
Look,
and if so, would you like to come in? Is there anybody else? I mean, Bielsa's not coming back. He's staying with Uruguay. So.
I'm part of the camp of, look, Bielsa was a wonderful time for Leeds United, but I'm happy to move on from that. We need to grow as a club. We need to move forward. Truth be told, I wanted Farke to be gone after we lost the playoff final 18 months ago.
Yeah,
I wanted change. I want, a semi-competent manager would have taken Leeds to promotion last season, because I don't think the Championship was particularly strong. I don't think the Championship is that strong at the moment in general, but I do think that Leeds have to do an awful lot of work to make sure they're not there next season. It's all well and good scoring 100 points in the Championship, but you don't want to be in the Championship in the first place. In terms of managers coming in, I mean, the two that have been mooted to talkSPORT recently, Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou, are not particularly inspiring, you have to say. Out of the two of them, I'd probably lean more towards Brendan Rodgers because he has got experience of organisation. I think he's a good manager, but there's still question marks over what happened when he left Leicester. And then the other name that's been touted around among Leeds social media is Bo Svensson, who is the manager of Mainz, and he took them from plumb last in the Bundesliga to Europe in the same season, who plays the system that worked so well against Man City at the weekend. So it's a really questionable time. It's a really difficult moment for Leeds United. But look, for me, I wanted Farke to be gone a little while ago.
Trouble is, with a name like that, Bo, if it goes badly, the headline is Bo Deadly, isn't it? At the end of the season, it's crying out.
Bo has to go, yeah.
Thank you very much, Tom. You're going to keep us updated with the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the weekend, aren't you?
That's right. Yeah.
Tom Clayton there, thanks to him. Graham Scott, former Premier League referee, going to join us in a few moments' time. They're looking at a potential law change in the game. There could be some changes for VAR for this World Cup as well. We'll bring you more on that. And Anthony Taylor, should he have got Chelsea Arsenal with his previous with Chelsea? We'll find out if Graham had a bit of a bogey team in a few moments' time. We're here with Toolstation. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Toolstation. Well, Hawksbee Jacobs here on talkSPORT. A few refereeing matters to discuss. Some potential law changes, maybe some emergency ones around VAR at the forthcoming World Cup. Joining us now is the former Premier League referee, Graham Scott. Good afternoon, Graham.
Good afternoon. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to talk to you as always. Andy wanted to talk a little bit about Anthony Taylor, and not so much the performance, but the kind of optics of him getting the Chelsea-Arsenal game at the weekend, Andy.
Yeah, Graham, the problem is that Taylor has a big history with Chelsea. He really has. And I just think it's mad for the PGMOL to give him the game. Why give him that pressure? Because what happened yesterday, as soon as he made a decision against Chelsea, all that history came back. All the fans knew it, and they were on top of him right from the thing. And it led to a poor atmosphere. I don't think it helped the game in as much as it was so tetchy and so, maybe it would have been anyway, but who knows.
You felt we put more pressure on
I just think it puts more pressure on him. I can't see the point. He sent off more Chelsea players than anybody else, more yellow cards than anybody else, 2 cup finals he's blamed for by the fans. It's not deliberate, but it just happens to be, it's always him. So even if he did well yesterday, I can't see why they gave him the game.
Well, I don't do the appointments, but the danger, of course, is a zero-sum game. We all offend teams at certain points, and we all get reputations for certain clubs that they think we've got it in for them. Of course, as you've just said, it's not true. Anthony's considered one of our top 2 referees. He does games of this high intensity all over Europe. I watched the whole game, and I thought he did terrifically well actually to manage that event, which was extremely challenging.
But it wouldn't have been that challenging if he hadn't been the referee.
I don't think so.
I think you were in the ground. I'm telling you, the minute the language and the chants and the thing that they were right on him. I mean, the whole ground. I'm not talking about just nobody. I'm talking about everybody. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help the atmosphere of the match. I couldn't see the point of it.
Well, I mean, as you say, I wasn't in the stadium, but it feels like a situation where does that end? Because we already have a lot of club influence around refereeing. Most of that's positive because it comes from a good place. But if we have effectively giving clubs a veto on who referees their games because of history, we can end up in a very difficult place. It's already quite difficult for whoever does the appointments to put that jigsaw together. There's a lot of factors at play. There's certain referees can't do certain teams because they support them. So Michael Oliver can't do Newcastle or Sunderland. That's already probably 2 games a week he can't do. And he can't be VAR on them either, of course. So you have situations like that all over the country. London, as it happens, there's no Premier League referees at the moment, so it's a little bit easier. But I do think it sets a dangerous line to draw to say certain referee can't do a certain club, because in the past there's been some issues that club and their supporters haven't liked. And from what I saw, the evidence I saw with my own eyes, not in the stadium but watching carefully on TV, was that he was very fair and balanced. Every decision I could see, I could understand, I could explain. There were 1 or 2 I might have given differently, but they certainly weren't plain wrong. And the actual issue for me about yesterday was that Chelsea and Arsenal went into that game with a very, very aggressive mindset. They weren't going to take any backward step. And that's the kind of game you're going to get when teams do that. So, we had umpteen free kicks in the first 15 minutes. We had 3 yellow cards. Just when the game starts to breathe, we then have another yellow card, 3 free kicks in a minute, and then we have the red card. That's all on the players. That's nothing to do with who the referee is, nothing to do with the atmosphere in the stadium. That is their professional choice in terms of the way they go and set themselves up. That's fine. That's all allowed. That's not a problem. It makes the spectacle. It was a fantastic, compelling game to watch. I think Anthony contributed more to that than anything he took away, anything you can take away for the fact that some Chelsea fans, or even all Chelsea fans, somehow think he's got it in for them. Because I know the man very well. He really doesn't.
Did you ever, Graham, have a team? I mean, because Howard Webb talked about it with Tottenham. He had a run of games where he managed to saw Tottenham off, and he didn't mean it, obviously not, but it happens. So, and he talked about it in his book, I believe. So did you have a team where you thought, oh, okay, back there again, am I?
Not quite, although for reasons I could never fathom, this isn't the Premier League story, but I did Huddersfield Town. I think I did them 11 times. They lost 9. and that started becoming a bit even in my head, it's like, am I actually? And then when I look back at the decisions I was making, actually, if anything, there were things I missed. I missed a red card that I should have given against them in the 10th minute. I missed a penalty I should have given against them in the 2nd minute. So if anything, I wasn't in any way. If anything, they got the benefit of any rub of the green, but the results went against them. I think what saved me was when they did win, they beat Leeds at Ellen Road 4-0. So quite clearly at this point, it can't be anything to do with me. But it can play in your mind. I do think Anthony, with the experience he has, being all around the world, he ain't going to be affected by it. He really isn't. He has that. He does clear his. I've known him well. He clears his mind before games, and he goes in with, and he referees what's put in front of him. He'll be prepared for what's coming, but he won't be prejudging it. And we are sometimes accused of that, and he really is not in that camp.
Now, there's a couple of things I thought I'm going to get your opinion on, one of which could be the Donnarumma rule, who knows, although lots of other teams and other goalkeepers have done it. Keepers going down, tactical timeouts. They're now saying that they may have a situation where an outfield player has to go off the field. Andy wants the goalkeeper to go off the field, which would be hilarious. But
well, that would, probably be better. Yeah.
That would stop it.
It would certainly stop it on day one. But what's your take on that?
Well, what they're looking at is probably more practical, is to stop players going within a certain distance of the technical area. So you couldn't go within 5-10 yards of the technical area during any injury break. That does at least mitigate against it. Nuclear options. Having been fourth official hundreds of times, I'd do either do the American football route and give them one side of the pitch each, and then they can do what you want. Just do what you want. We're not going to bother as long as we'll put a camera on you. If you do something terrible, you'll get done for it subsequently. But I don't know why the managers are even on the sideline. Get them in the stand would be the nuclear options. But in the short term, I think that's the only real way out, is to stop players going around the technical area at all. I think then the goalkeeper suddenly won't be quite as badly injured as he first thought.
I tell you what is interesting. The 8-second rule with keepers is working really well, because yesterday Sanchez would have wanted to waste time, but he couldn't because of this rule. But I've seen in other matches, throws, goal kicks, they have to do the same thing. If a goalkeeper is taking a certain amount of time to take a goal kick, it should be the same thing. Corner.
And also throw-ins are taking a long time. We're in this world of long throws now.
Throw-ins and goal kicks are actually where the biggest challenges are, as in place goal kicks. Corners less so. Because you're always going to have a situation where the defenders are coming up and you've got a player, maybe a right-footed player, taking a corner on the left wing. That's reasonable. It's part of football. I don't know how you start the clock on a throw-in, because, again, you could have a long throw specialist who's got to run up to take it. That seems reasonable. But maybe a clock that starts when he picks up the ball. From then, it's 8 seconds to get the ball in, rather than this fanning around while we wait around for ages to actually chuck the thing into play.
Yeah.
I'd still rather look at those options than stopping the clock. I think that would bring lots of unintended consequences, which would be very dangerous for the game, around teams just deliberately taking ages. And then we'll have 2-hour matches, 2.5-hour matches. They're long enough as they are.
They are.
Graham, we're out of time, but pleasure to talk to you as always. Thanks very much for joining us. Take care.
Cheers, thanks.
Graham Scott there, the former Premier League referee. Just a reminder, the Men in Black podcast, Sam Matterface and Chris Foy, available on talkSPORT or the talkSPORT Premier League All Access feed. They're going to be covering a lot of ground we were chatting about there. Daniel Farke's frustration with Donnarumma's tactical timeout, Paqueta's 2 yellows for dissent. That's all on the Men in Black podcast with Sam Matterface and Chris Foy, which is out now. Don't forget our podcast, the H&J Daily. If you missed any of the show today, you heard talk of a footballing nun from Romania who occasionally directs traffic, and also Danny Miller of Emmerdale fame and a former winner of I'm a Celebrity, popped in, big Liverpool fan, and former Stockport County Academy player, was great fun as well. Plus Danny Kelly going game by game through the Premier League weekend, all the games covered. So go and check it out wherever you get your podcast, the H&J Daily Podcast, and the clips of the week from Friday are there as well. That is us. We're back tomorrow to build up to a big week of Premier League football, all of which will be live and exclusive on talkSPORT. But coming up next, live from New York, it's Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent with Drive.